security threat near the White House when a Missouri man attempted to drive a rented box truck into a barricade last night. According to court documents, the suspect told Secret Service agents that he planned the attack for 6 months with the intention of taking control of the White House and killing the president or anyone else that got in his way. The 19-year-old from the St. Louis suburb of Chesterfield appeared in court this afternoon on one federal charge.
And as we mentioned, expected back in court today, Amy, there were a couple of different things here. First of all, the man's name is Sai Varshith Kandula. He's 19 years old. He graduated a little bit early from Marquette and said he had been planning this attack for a while, as you heard Norah O'Donnell say. We have a couple of different takes on this. And I was actually thinking of it the way you're thinking of it, but I had a different one too. Let's get to yours first, because it's really something if you sit down and think about this.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not trying to be facetious here, but as we heard Norah O'Donnell say that this 19-year-old graduated from Marquette High School a semester early and that he had been planning this attack for 6 months. And my first thought was, wow, how did he graduate a semester early? This was his plan.
Jeez.
After 6 months, he flies one way from St. Louis to Dulles, rents a box truck, which, by the way, is empty. There's nothing in the box truck except for a Nazi flag and his backpack with his notebook in it. He drives into the barricades, still a couple blocks from the White House. Like, he's not close to the White House. Backs up, hits the barricades again, gets out of the truck and waves a Nazi flag around. When he's arrested, he tells police he was going to go after the vice president, the president, take over the White House and take control of the country. He had no weapons in the truck. He had no explosives, I'm grateful for that. This isn't a plan. I mean, other than maybe he wanted it to be suicide by cop and he wanted his writings to be read and him somehow be made infamous. But I mean, what an idiot. Like, this is such a bad plan. I am the worst planner. I can't play chess because I can't think 2 steps ahead. Even I would know renting an empty box truck and ramming it into a pole a couple of times and then getting arrested. That's not a plan to take over the White House and then take control of the country. This guy was unhinged.
This is why they shouldn't ask 18-year-olds to declare a major. You know,
I mean,
you can't plan out the next 25 to 30 years of your life when you're 18 years old. This kid can't even do it in 6 months.
Yes, on top of being criminal, it's just embarrassing. It would have been better for him to say it was on a whim. That's why I didn't have a plan. But for him to say this was my plan, what a bad planner.
Yes,
You're the worst planner in the history of planning.
And we're not advocating for you to come up with a better plan. Don't come up with a better plan to attack any government building.
I'm sick of idiots.
Well, the reason we can make light of it is because nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. The entire thing is ridiculous. But also there is a dangerous undertone here too. This is where we are. There are more and more. And there was a whole thing about, last week, there was a big stink that was made about President Joe Biden saying something along the lines of white supremacy being one of the great domestic terror threats in the country, which it is. It is. That's what the Department of Homeland Security has been saying for about 6 or 7 years. The FBI says the same thing. It is a thing that needs to be kept up on. I know there's going to be some confusion because the person we're talking about isn't white. I mean, I don't know what he identifies as, but he doesn't fit that typical mold of what a white supremacist is. But he's somebody who said he admired Hitler because he was a powerful figure. He did have the Nazi flag on him. So it's not funny. And the take that I had with this is we brought this up yesterday on the show. We talked about it probably a total of 20-25 minutes, wouldn't you say? It was about that much time yesterday. If this had happened 20 years ago, this would have been all anybody in St. Louis was talking about.
Yeah.
A guy from our area.
Marquette High School.
A guy who went to
Chesterfield.
Marquette, a guy from Chesterfield, bought a one-way plane ticket to Washington, D.C., rented a U-Haul, and tried to drive it into the White House gate. If that had happened 20 years ago, this would have been all anybody talked about. But things are so weird and crazy now that all we have done is looked at it and gone, well, that's messed up.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of, I mean, we're paying attention to it. We're talking about it, obviously, but we're also kind of not fixated on it like we would have been. This would have been a really big deal a couple of decades ago, which shows you how nuts our environment is now, that this isn't even registering for a lot of people.
Right. It's more of exactly what you said. Like the Bill Hader as Keith Morrison. That's wild.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
I mean, seriously, like, oh, you drove a box truck into the White House. That's wild. I mean, that's literally what we're doing. And I think it's because of what you said. One, we're so saturated with overwhelming bad news, whether it is a school shooting or the war in Ukraine, the destruction in Bakhmut, the crime in St. Louis, that if something catastrophic didn't happen, even if it potentially happened, if it didn't happen, we move past it. We move past it.
Right.
That also, I think because this quote unquote plan was so ineffective and so unplanned as to be laughable, you just look at this guy and think, okay, he's mentally unfit. Again, he told police he wanted to, quote, seize power and be put in charge of the nation. Thank goodness he didn't have any weapons, but he didn't have any weapons. He had an empty box truck and a backpack. He thought he was going to, what, drive into the White House and say, I have seized power. Please give me power, authority to run the country. Like,
Yeah.
that is
Well, it's mental. It's crazy.
Yes, unfitness, like unhinged.
A text message from an 816 says the, quote, attack on the White House, and it was an attempted attack. I mean, you don't have to put it in quotes. It just was. The attack on the White House says nothing about, quote, where we are. It's a 19-year-old whose intent was to kill the president and become ruler of the nation. There have always been crazy people. There will always be crazy people. You're missing the point. The point is, had this exact same scenario played out 20 years ago, this would have been a much, much bigger deal. But it absolutely does say something about where we are, that it's not registering for a lot of people. It absolutely is. This should be a much bigger deal, that a guy from our area, crazy person, made his way out there with this ridiculous plan of taking over the country and did all that. Again, it's all we would be talking about nonstop. It's all we would have talked about yesterday. It's all the entire station would have talked about. Every news outlet, that's all anybody, people in their offices would have been talking about this. People at home with their families would have been talking about this. And my guess is, for most people, it wasn't even a blip. So it absolutely does say something about where we are now, that it's not that big of a deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, I just think there is the environment, the world has gotten so bizarre. And you may say it's always been bizarre. Sure. And there always have been horrible things, but we didn't always have access to all of the images and all of the information and all of the audio all of the time. Like, our brains were not made to absorb everything, every global tragedy, every national tragedy, state and city tragedy. We absorb it all day long. And this guy, this 19-year-old, in addition to being a profound idiot, told authorities, as I mentioned, he wanted to be put in charge of the nation. He admired Nazis', quote, authoritarian nature, eugenics, and their one world order. He said he looked up to Adolf Hitler because he was a, quote, strong leader and believed Nazis have a, quote, great history. What a scumbag.
That's Amy Marks Course. I'm Chris Ranji. We want to hear from you. 314-436-7900. Before we go to break, a text message says, this is from a 636, says the plan.
Oh my gosh.
The plan. This is not funny, but it's funny.
You are laughing.
The plan makes perfect sense. Why book round trip when he'd be returning to St. Louis on Air Force One?
What? See, we're laughing because nothing happened.
So, yes.
It's such a dark.
If people had been
This is
hurt,
dark humor. Gallows humor. Is that what they
everything
call
is gallows humor.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's, making a joke up on the right before you're about to be guillotined. It's guillotine. It's French. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji will hear from you. 314-436-7900 on KMOX.
Well, you may be thinking it's the holiday weekend. It's Memorial Day. We're going to go to the lake, go visit friends, go visit family, and barbecue. Here's something else you should put on your list. Go visit St. Charles Hyundai. It's very close to you no matter where you are. It's conveniently located a quarter mile east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70, St. Charles Hyundai, because right now through May 31st, they are offering 0% APR financing on select Hyundai models. And you cannot get a better car buying experience than the one you get at St. Charles Hyundai. First, they have a brand new showroom. I just visited. It is absolutely gorgeous. Second, they have cars in stock. They have inventory. A lot of dealerships can't say that. So if you see a car online and you like that car, you can go to St. Charles Hyundai and say, that's it. That's the one I want. They're not going to hassle you. You don't have to haggle prices because the price you see online is the price you pay. They're one of the last truly family-owned and operated dealerships, and that makes a difference. The owners are on site. The sales reps have been there for decades. This is the place where you buy your car, your parents bought the car, and you'll go for generations. St. Charles Hyundai, stcharleshyundai.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. For the best eye doctors, you need to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. YourEyeDoc.com, 314-966-5000.
McKelvey Homes was founded in 1898. This year, we are celebrating our 125th anniversary by giving $12,500 of free options on all homes sold through the end of June. And we will also make a donation of $1,898 to the Independence Center for every home sold. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for our current locations and to learn more information about McKelvey Homes. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
SimpliSafe was named Best Home Security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors, indoor and outdoor HD cameras, and hazard detectors are powered by live 24/7 professional monitoring, so you get emergency help fast. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Here's a financial tip from Discover with CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger. It's college graduation season, but graduates also need to focus on paying down debt. Here's Jill.
Focus on the highest interest loans and then systematically work your way down to the lower interest ones.
I just learned Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned doubled. The cash back from your trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Now, Carol's favorite moment, sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck.
This memory is one that most people aren't aware of. The holiday radio show in 1999 took place when I was 9 months pregnant. My son, Marcus Isaiah Daniel, was born December 17th, 1999. The show took place a week before at the Sheldon, and I was in labor the entire show. I would go out on stage, do my lines, and then I would go backstage and I would sit down.
Well, as any woman would know, when it's your second, you don't take any chances.
You do not take any chances.
It can happen at any time.
Not to be too detailed, but going on stage and thinking I might go into labor any moment now was a little bit disconcerting.
Yeah. And the ability to just breathe.
Right. Was very hard.
This has been Carol's favorite moment, sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best. ChesterfieldFence.com.
As I prepare to leave KMOX after 28 years, I think about all the relationships I formed. One of those is with Tom and Sherry Thiel. They're the owners of Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Their craftsmen built our bronze aluminum fence nearly 10 years ago, still framing our backyard beautifully. And although I am retiring, you'll still hear my voice on KMOX telling you why Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the company to call to transform your backyard with a patio, deck, or pergola. I'm not going anywhere, and neither are they. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Live and local, this is St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
314-436-7900 to call or text us. You can leave us a voicemail. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. That number is 944-1120.
How did this 19-year-old guy rent a U-Haul? I thought the minimum age to rent a motor vehicle was 25, maybe 22, not 19. Come on. What the heck is going on?
This is an excellent question, and we have an answer for that.
We have an answer. Okay, this is just brilliant. You can be 18 to rent a U-Haul truck or 16 to rent a U-Haul trailer. You have to be 25 to rent a car. And what's crazy is earlier this morning, I thought, why did this guy get a truck? Why did he get an empty truck? And I, quote, said, he could have just gotten a Camry and rammed that into the barriers. No, he couldn't have, because guess what? He couldn't rent a Camry. He had to rent a truck because you can't rent a car until you're 25.
And you're not listening to me. Because a Camry doesn't have the ramming power that a U-Haul truck does.
Not an empty U-Haul truck has zero ramming power.
You really should have loaded it up with something.
Bricks.
Other than duct tape and a
There was nothing in the truck.
Nazi flag.
But I kept thinking, why did he rent a truck with nothing in it? Otherwise, maybe he wanted to look suspicious. No, it's because he couldn't rent a car.
Let's visit with Rex in Pinckneyville, Illinois. Hello, Rex.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
I just wanted to say that if this nut job had been a Trumpster, we would be talking about it 24/7. The only reason we're not is because he's not a Trumpster. He's probably a left wing.
I mean, he's a Nazi.
He's probably a left-wing Nazi.
I don't know. You're right. I mean, he didn't
famous left-wing Nazis.
To keep things even, he didn't mention Trump. He did mention Biden, but only in the context of killing him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I think Rex is, and we appreciate the phone call, but he is 100% incorrect.
I think
because
he's implying
it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if who he supports as president. We are talking about it as much as we would be talking about it anyway. What I'm saying is, if this were 20 years ago when things weren't as bat spit crazy, this is all we would be talking about in St. Louis, because a guy from our area went out there and tried to do that.
Yeah. And his pro-Nazi, pro-Hitler sentiments, that should be concerning.
Because there's all the
but at least he's not supporting Trump. Is that what the guy was saying?
No, he's saying that Donald Trump, we're always all over Donald Trump and everybody hates him.
Yeah.
And therefore we would be out to get him and talking
If
about
this
him.
guy were Trumpy.
That's just ridiculous. I mean, we appreciate the call, but it's just wrong. It's that wouldn't have moved the needle any more than it is now. And who knows? Maybe he is a Trump guy. We just don't know it.
Well, he's more Hitler-y right now.
Well, he
that's
loves
what we
Hitler.
know. Yeah, that's what we know.
All the crossover between the Biden voters and Hitler lovers, you know how that is. Tom is in Chester. No, Tom's in the city of St. Louis. Hello, Tom.
Hi, how you guys doing?
We're great.
Good. First of all, I want to thank you for your show. It's very informative and entertaining, and I love the job that both of you guys are doing.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
tremendous. That's very nice.
Did you feel like you learned something about renting a U-Haul trailer
That's
at 16?
information
That
people
was
didn't
brand
have.
new.
I sure did, Amy. I sure did.
Nice.
Thank you.
Look what we're doing for the people.
I have, on a lighter note, I have three comments about our Cardinals that I would like to make. Number one, our catcher is doing a wonderful job, who's designated hitting now, Contreras. But he's doing, as an old-time catcher myself, I see one thing basic that he's doing wrong. He's giving the target when the pitcher is getting ready to throw, and then he drops his glove. And our pitchers, when you pitch, even in Little Leagues, you always aimed for the glove. So if our catchers would just leave the glove up where they want the ball until the pitch is thrown, then they can jump around and mess with the batter.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely great. Number one.
Well, Tom, Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but we do have to get to a break here in a second. And I agree with you on the target thing. It probably would help. Kevin Wheeler is a catcher. I wonder what he thinks about that. I'd like to get his thoughts. But Tom just proved my point. This man, we are the home of the Cardinals. So if you have any breaking Cardinals news that happens, we're going to cover it here on KMOX. This is the home of St. Louis Cardinals baseball. But we were just talking about a guy who tried to attack the White House. Tom wants to talk Cardinals. See?
Isn't that?
See? That's exactly my point.
I wasn't here when Bob Hamilton was, but people would say that Bob Hamilton would. Yeah, and say like, a man from Chesterfield tried to kill President Joe Biden, but we've got Cardinal baseball.
I just remember one time when I was interning. It was a night. It was a night I was here, and Bob Hamilton was the only other guy here. And the show that was on, and it was late at night, he just goes, "This is radio for idiots." I love it. Hey, Major Garrett, friend of the show. He is coming up next. We love you guys. This is KMOX.
Dave Glover, he's got a lot to say.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX.
It is 10:28. The time check brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
If you're thinking about doing a little home improvement, especially one that you don't have to do the installation, think about getting a Beam central vacuum system. It's the kind of home upgrade that really checks all the boxes, because when you compare and evaluate, a Beam system makes so much sense. There's a reason why nearly every high-end home in St. Louis is built with a Beam. A Beam vacuum system is very smart because it adds value to your home. Beam whole house vacuum system starts at just $11.99, including installation. And it's an investment, not just in your home, but in a healthy lifestyle. Every time you vacuum, you'll save time because a Beam is more efficient and 5 times stronger, so you'll clean better in less time. And since you're getting all the deep down dirt and grit, vacuuming with a Beam will keep your rugs and carpets looking brand new for many years to come. So you get value from your Beam system every day. Call Beam of St. Louis today, 314-567-1515, or online at beamstl.com.
Beam's home sale is starting early. Every system for every size home now on sale.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money, at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
At 10:30, we have sunny skies and 81 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Talks over the debt ceiling in Washington not going well, and that is making some economists nervous. Concern growing as the U.S. moves ever closer to the brink of an unprecedented default on its debts. Jeffrey Korzenik is chief economist at Fifth Third Commercial Bank. He says even if Democrats and Republicans reach an agreement soon, he predicts the U.S. will see a mild recession, likely toward the end of the year. A former South Carolina man convicted of killing his wife and son facing new criminal charges.
Alex Murdaugh has been indicted by a federal grand jury on more than a dozen bank fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering charges. Prosecutors say the 54-year-old former personal injury lawyer allegedly took money and property from his clients 3 times. Murdaugh is serving 2 life sentences for the fatal shootings of his 52-year-old wife and a 22-year-old son. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
And a Southern Illinois man apparently needed a ride to the airport So he stole a backhoe and drove it there. Security cameras show a Carbondale man arriving at Veterans Airport on the equipment. He parked it, walked to the terminal carrying a guitar case. Authorities say he stole the backhoe from a job site and drove it 10 miles to catch his flight. He is now charged with theft. And checking the roadways on this Wednesday morning. Right now, MoDOT says watch for slow-moving road work 67 north past Route B, Natural Bridge Road. The left lane is closed there. There is a stalled vehicle 64 east past Mason Road. The right lane is closed in that location. The KMOX forecast sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Look for a high of 86 degrees this afternoon with sunny skies. Right now, it's 81 in Florissant, 83 in St. Peters, and sunny and 81 downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Cardinals baseball is in full swing.
Right center field, a grand slam for Nolan Gorman.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
And it's a gunner! An opposite field home run for Wilson Contreras.
Cardinals baseball. Cardinals announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
Hello Garage elevates your garage, adding additional entertainment space for graduation parties or other summer get-togethers you have planned. In as little as 48 hours, get organized and start planning that party. Visit them online at hellogarage.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, so why don't we do something about it? With Neovitin Men's 50 Plus, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Formulated for men over 50, Neovitin Men's 50 Plus gives you B vitamins to support energy and our proprietary physician-formulated blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Do something about your health today with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus. Available at your local Schnucks and Deerbergs.
With an incredible inventory and selection, St. Charles Nissan is ready to make you a great deal. And now is the time to consider an electric vehicle. The new 2023 Nissan Ariya electric crossover SUV is definitely a great choice. No more gas stations or oil changes for you. And right now, get 0% APR financing on select Nissan models through May 31st. St. Charles Nissan, just a quarter mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, off 70, or online at stcharlesnissan.com.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. As the state's chief legal officer, I will enforce the laws as written. I will hold accountable those who violate state and federal law by knowingly hiring unauthorized workers. By paying lower wages and avoiding taxes, businesses using unauthorized workers put honest ones at a competitive disadvantage. Report businesses that employ unauthorized workers at ago.mo.gov.
Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Labor and Industrial Relations.
Following the Cards game Saturday night, Bill McDermott recaps the City SC game. It's Extra Time live from the pitch. Joining Bill, special guests Al Trost, Jake Kennick, and Kevin Kalish. Extra Time live from the pitch. Following the Cards game Saturday night on KMOX.
With a purple umbrella and a 50-cent hand.
Sammy Marchkors and Chris Ranji on KMOX. To the Quiver River Electric guest line we go for the first time today. Typically, we speak to this gentleman on Thursdays at 10:30, but we got a short show tomorrow, so we're giving Major Garrett his due on a Wednesday. Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, author of The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie. Major Garrett, welcome to the show today.
Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, everyone.
I think it's a happy Wednesday for the most part. We've had some weird stuff happen here. Chesterfield man.
Yes, yes.
You know the whole story.
Not Florida man, Chesterfield
man.
Well, please, let's not make that a thing now.
The fields of Chester have always been a little sus.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
So, I mean, here we are. We're laughing about this.
We should.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier on the show, Major, about how if this had happened 2 decades ago, this would have been a huge deal. But with the political environment now and just all the weird stuff that happens and terrible stuff, it's barely anything right now.
Yeah, we are numbed to things that used to really give us not only cause for concern, but focus our attention on the question of, is there some underlying issue or cause? And psychically, I think in our country, and I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but I just feel it in politics, and I see it in the polling data, and I hear it when I interact with voters and audiences around the country. People are just numbed to a lot of things that they never thought they would be numbed to. We're numb to mass shootings in the most unbelievable venues, schools, movie theaters, churches. We're not indifferent to them, grocery stores, but we're numb to them. We don't even know what to do about them. We don't know how to react to them anymore. And you're right. If this had been 20 years ago, the idea of anyone from America, renting a box truck and trying to drive it through Lafayette Square with the intent of crashing into the White House would have been sensational, jaw-dropping news. And if that person, having gotten out of the truck unsuccessfully, was either waving or holding a Nazi flag, would have been like, what? And now it seems like, oh, they caught him? Okay, well, I guess we'll prosecute him. Move on. Like, huh? Now, there are a couple of reasons why this story is less frightening than it otherwise could have been. He had no weapons. He had nothing else in the box truck like explosives. Every indication from those who interacted with him immediately is that he has severe mental illness problems and was rambling incoherently about wanting to take over the White House, take over the country, take over the world, vague references to harming the president and the vice president. I mean, this is a person not remotely attached to reality, and therefore probably did not pose the kind of threat that somebody who was more intricate and experienced or quote unquote skilled in creating an act of terror would have been. But still, it's a thing. And it was alarming to people who witnessed it. And it was our lead story on the evening news last night because it's so newsworthy and shocking.
Yeah. Well, and again, with us being in St. Louis and Chesterfield being such a big part of the St. Louis area, my goodness, I've run on the Marquette High School track a gazillion times. Everybody's familiar with that school. And so to see Norah O'Donnell talk about someone from that area was very surreal. And as you mentioned, the clumsiness of it, the ineptitude, it was not a plan. The only thing this guy knew that I didn't know is he couldn't rent a car because he's not 25, but you only have to be 16 to rent a U-Haul trailer, which is news you can use.
18 to rent a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, but 16 for a trailer. Yeah, 18 for a truck.
Which we might want to revisit just as a by and by.
What about the kids going away to college?
Well, yes, but I sent 3 children to college. Parents can be involved. I've co-signed more than a number of things. I think I could probably co-sign on a box truck. These things can be done. And the other thing that makes this a less scary story conceptually is he had no previous record. He wasn't on any terrorist watch list. There is no sense that he was in a pool of extremist activity or extremists. It did seem to be a one-off, but even as a one-off, definitely in the alarming category.
Major, moving over to the talk of...
But one other thing about the story. One other thing. So, post the bombing of the Murrow building in Oklahoma City, that's when Pennsylvania Avenue was closed down for vehicle traffic. Not after 9/11. It was closed off after the Murrow building bombing in the mid-90s. So Pennsylvania Avenue can have no vehicles on it, okay? And it is protected by these things called bullards, which are these big metal things that come hydraulically up out of the ground. They weigh a great deal of weight. I mean, they're very, very heavy. They're super hard to maintain because it takes a lot of hydraulic lift to get them up out of the ground and to protect places like Lafayette Square and Pennsylvania Avenue from exactly this kind of attempted incursion. So these things, I see them being repaired all the time because they're super hard to keep working. They're super expensive. But the Monday night, man, did they work because it stopped that truck cold. And had there not been there, had there just been like fences or something, he'd have gotten through. So big expense, big hassle. They're kind of ugly, but boy, do they work.
Major, moving on to Bakhmut and Ukraine,
Mhm.
and also the news coming out of the G7 summit that American-made F-16s will be sent to Ukraine. We don't know from who, how
Mhm.
many, or when. They won't be from
Mhm.
the United States directly. The discussion on Capitol Hill, the support, the continued support for Ukraine. What is the discussion regarding those planes, whether or not they should have been made available earlier, and the continuing support for Ukraine's effort?
So, a couple of things. The administration has made the case, and I was talking to senior administration officials about this over the weekend, that the F-16s are important, but the F-16s and the training of them is time-consuming and costly. And from the cost perspective, what Ukraine has needed most on the ground is on-the-ground munitions, things that are easily and rapidly deployed, can be put into the field pretty rapidly, that the training time is less pronounced, meaning you might need 2 or 3 weeks, maybe less, maybe a month in the terms of the Patriot anti-missile system, but things that you can put into the battle space rapidly with less training than an F-16. And the way it's been described to me is the administration is doing whatever it can and encouraging NATO allies to pour into Ukraine as much battlefield weaponry as possible for the counteroffensive that's coming in a matter of weeks. And the F-16s are thought of as the kind of thing that when territorial gains are achieved by the Ukrainians in the counteroffensive, when they gain back territory, which is the full expectation internally, and it's even a little bit visible in the external commentary from administration officials, but internally they're really confident about this. If and when the Ukrainians gain back territory, the F-16s are there for overflight to protect those territorial gains. So they're not for right now. They are for a later stage of this battle space when the counteroffensive has succeeded to some measurable degree, land has been retaken, the Ukrainians have taken stuff away from the Russians, and now the means by which to keep the Russians out is the overflight from F-16s. So think of it as a two-stage process. That's how it's been explained to me.
Major, we have been paying attention to the negotiations as much as we possibly can involving the debt ceiling and
It feels
whether or
like
not
a rinse and repeat story right now, doesn't it?
Right. So I don't know. What's it like today?
So let me just give the audience a way to monitor this. So you don't have to live hour by hour through the rinse and repeat cycle. Leave that to the markets. And the financial markets are paying much closer attention. They were down yesterday. They're down this morning because they're getting a little nervous. What the White House hasn't yet wrapped its mind around is the only thing it gets out of this negotiation is an increase of the debt ceiling. That's all it gets. It gets nothing else. And it's going to have to give to Republicans on 2 or 3 areas. And Democrats quite haven't figured that out. They're like, well, we shouldn't have to give anything. Guess what? You're going to have to give something. That's what happens when you negotiate. And the only thing the Republicans are offering on the plus side from the White House position is raising the debt ceiling, which the White House said it would never negotiate over. Well, what's it been doing for the last 9 days? Negotiating over it. So what are you negotiating on the Republican terms? And when the White House cuts this deal, it has to be a deal sufficient to get at least 180 votes in the House on the Republican side. And guess what? 60 votes on the Democratic side. So the White House needs to start explaining the political realities it finds itself in, find a way to get those 60 Democratic votes in the House, get it through the Senate, and avoid default. And if you don't start seeing commentary and details about just what I described by Friday or Saturday, then we're going to be heading toward a default.
Why didn't Democrats work on the debt ceiling, raising the debt ceiling, when they had the House and the Senate?
Well, they did, and they pushed it. They pushed the date as far as they could, but this is not something that you legislatively write for a 5-year period because it's hard to find the votes for that, even on the Democratic side. So they extended as far as they politically could, and they assumed that Republicans would do what Republicans have done in the past: make a bid and then compromise and extend it, and it wouldn't be a big hassle. This is a differently constructed House Republican conference. There are some hardliners there who, hey, don't really believe default is that big a deal. It is. Trust me, it's a very big deal. But there are some who doubt that, and you got to get their votes. And so to get their votes, you got to bring them on board with other concessions from the White House. And what the White House didn't understand is that they bet entirely that Kevin McCarthy would fail and not pass something to the House. That was their entire strategy. Well, when McCarthy succeeded, raised the debt ceiling only with Republican votes, then what could Mark McCarthy tell the nation? What has he been telling the nation every day since? We're the only ones in Washington who have avoided default. And that's correct, technically and politically. House Republicans are the only one who've avoided default. They voted to raise the debt ceiling. Senate Democrats haven't done anything. And the White House hasn't set its parameters. So the White House, Senate Democrats, House Democrats are negotiating from a position of weakness. I don't think they've quite figured that out, but time is running out for not only them to figure it out, but do something about it.
Major, before we ask you about the Takeout podcast for this week, it is the 1-year anniversary of Uvalde, the massacre there. Does it really feel like much has changed in Washington since that has happened?
Not really. There was a bill passed last summer that provided some very low-level federal measures to improve gun safety and allocations for mental health research and intervention at the state level. Has it slowed mass shootings? No. Mass shootings have only increased in number and violence, and the percentage of them being involved with or having the weapon of choice being a assault-style weapon has increased. So was it a political Band-Aid? Yes. Was it a remedy? No. And there is still this very confrontational conversation that goes on in Washington between Second Amendment absolutists who are like, no, you cannot touch the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is inviolate, and anything that encroaches is a violation of the Second Amendment. And they're willing to go to court and take political positions on behalf of that position. And those with the president and other Democrats who want to do something in terms of background checks, ban assault weapons in some cases. It is a complete stalemate. Trapped in the middle of that stalemate are more and more victims of shootings in communities, large, medium, and small, and large, and very large, all across our country.
Who's on the Takeout this week?
Someone who's pretty much right in the middle of the whole debt ceiling controversy. Brendan Boyle. He is the ranking Democrat on the House Budget Committee. He works closely with the White House, Senate Democratic leadership, House Democratic leadership. He's in the middle of all this, and we will have his perspective tomorrow morning, and that will be the Takeout for this weekend. So right on the news.
Major, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. We will talk next week.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
That is Major Garrett, Chief Washington Correspondent for CBS. He is the author of The Big Truth. You can get that at all the major outlets or your small bookstore as well. And the Takeout podcast, you can hear it on the Odyssey app. Download the app where you can also listen to this show with Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. Also, the podcasts are available on that app as well. You're listening to KMOX.
Well, we've been talking about how perfect the weather is, and I think it's because we're not used to having perfect weather day after day, but we have been, and I have been spending a lot of time on my deck. Now, it is so nice to sit outside on the deck, drink coffee in the morning, maybe listen to Cardinal baseball in the evening and barbecue. When you have a great outdoor space, your house becomes the gathering place for neighbors, for families, and for friends. STL Fenceworks can make your backyard dreams a reality. STL Fenceworks has been serving the St. Louis, St. Charles, Franklin, and Warren counties for over 50 years, and never once have they wavered in their quality and customer-first approach. When you work with STL Fenceworks, you know that your deck will be built, your fence will be installed by an experienced craftsman in a timely manner, because they have all the materials and supplies that you need on hand right now, more than they've had at any other time in their 50-year history. And of course, they have a lifetime warranty that surpasses anything else offered in the industry. At STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is their passion. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, I don't think there's an age that's too early, because really, if you take away the word therapy, what's happening is, hey, let's communicate with other people. Let's communicate what you're feeling. it's just communication skills. So it's like basically you're just saying, hey, there might be some conversation you can have with X person that's going to help you. And because it helps you to evolve as a human.
Explore more at imlistening.org.
Sponsored by Compass Health Network, now hiring.
Hi, Joe Buck for NewSpace. Since 1984, the home organization experts at NewSpace have been on a mission to create spaces that make everyday life easier. Custom closets, home offices, pantries, laundry rooms, and even garages, NewSpace can get your whole home organized. And from their expert design to the final installation, NewSpace guarantees your 100% satisfaction. So go to newspace.com to get started with St. Louis's home organization experts.
With a new space.
That's newspace.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle. That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
Feel the magic with the official St. Louis Cardinals credit card from Central Bank. From tickets to throwing out the first pitch, your St. Louis Cardinals credit card earns rewards for one-of-a-kind experiences. Your no annual fee card earns you double reward points at the stadium and at Cardinals.com. Central Bank, the hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinals, and now offering the official St. Louis Cardinals credit card. Visit CardinalsCredit.com or any Central Bank location to sign up. Subject to credit approval, see bank for details.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pills or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment with our physicians are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Furnish hope right here in St. Louis. Donate your unneeded furniture and household goods to Home Sweet Home. Visit www.homesweethomestl.org to learn more.
Dude, I'm here for the show.
What show?
St. Louis, this is your show.
The show
on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
All right, Ron, I don't know if you saw this, but QR code menus. You've used QR code menus. You go to the restaurant,
right?
You
scan it, and then you don't have to hold a physical menu.
Yeah, they are losing popularity.
Why?
I know. I thought they
them.
would be gaining popularity. They became incredibly popular after
the pandemic.
Restaurants opened back up again after the pandemic, kind of this no-touch society that we were in. Well, apparently, more and more customers would rather just have a menu or place the order with the server. So Must-Have Menus, which is a menu management and printing platform, has about 7,000 customers across the U.S. They have seen QR code use decline this year by 27% compared to the same period last year. Fewer restaurants are creating QR menus. 75% of their existing QR codes are essentially dormant with fewer than 90 views in the past year. So basically, these restaurants, they're not deleting their QR codes, but they're just leaving them alone. Customers aren't using them. And what's so funny, I just read this story this morning, but I went to a restaurant 2 nights ago. that always had a QR code menu.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sat down at the table, I get my phone out and I realize there's no QR code. The server walks up and puts paper menus down. I go, oh, you guys got rid of your online menu. Yeah, we're back to paper now. Isn't that interesting?
It's bad. Let me tell you why. Menus, physical menus, are one of the most disgusting things you can touch.
You would think so.
They are. They are the bacteria count on a menu is worse than a toilet seat. This is true.
Who said that?
This is a cleaning and maintenance management. This is true.
You made that up.
No, I didn't make it up. 185,000 bacteria count per square centimeter on a menu because they never get cleaned. And if you ever seen I've worked at a restaurant, and part of the job was when the shift was over, you had to roll the silverware and then clean the menus. We didn't really clean the menus.
Yeah.
No one's cleaning the menus.
Well,
people go to the bathroom, they don't wash their hands, they touch the menus, then you touch the menu later. Gross. Back to the QR codes, please. Carol Daniels coming in studio next on KMOX.
At Diamonds Direct, we know your first impression of us is probably bridal jewelry. Engagement rings, wedding bands, and yes, you're right, there's a reason we're the nation's premier bridal jewelry destination. But you're missing out if you don't also think about Diamonds Direct for jewelry gifts for other special moments, like birthdays, graduations, sweet 16s, anniversaries. Our collection of fashion jewelry is second to none. Cases filled with rings, bands, pendants, bracelets, colored gemstones, beautiful jewelry starting at around $300. Jewelry boxes across America are being filled with our diamond classics, like stud and hoop earrings and stunning tennis bracelets. Everyday jewelry that you can wear with anything. And know this, the same quality and value you appreciate in our bridal collections, you'll find as well in our fashion jewelry. No compromises. So as you celebrate all the amazing moments of your life, remember Diamonds Direct. Let us help you celebrate with a gift of lasting value. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
When do you need to see an ophthalmologist? Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Now, that's a good question. If your vision is blurry, you notice dark spots in the middle of your field of vision, you're seeing flashes or new floaters, if you have difficulty seeing distances, if there's a sharp pain in one eye, along with vision changes, or if you have trouble driving because of glare, these are all good reasons to make your appointment with the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com. And if your eyes are itchy and scratchy, that might be more than allergies. The doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Andrew Royer, and Robert Brusati are also leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. I've been a patient of theirs for about 25 years. In Sullivan, St. Peter's, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000 and yourEyeDoc.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Can you imagine a magical world
filled with elves and fairies
and pixies and sprites
whose only job is to make people happy?
They want to see you smile
and laugh
and sing
and dance a little.
These magical beings will suddenly appear
when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And then you'll look at babies and smile.
And tell delivery people to have a wonderful day.
And wave at your neighbors whenever you see them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Let's make room for 72 more families to stay together during extreme medical emergencies each day by supporting the Ronald McDonald House Charities of St. Louis Capital Campaign. Please visit rmhcstl.com and learn the ways you can donate.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of the respective companies.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's sunny and 81 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Time is short for the White House and House Republicans to reach a deal on raising the debt ceiling. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has been speaking on the latest with negotiations. Let's take a listen.
Speaker, on the first vote, it took 15 rounds. And you know what? I think we're stronger for it. And it's probably we didn't solve this problem on the first negotiation, but it took us 97 days. I firmly believe that we'll be able to get there. Yes, sir.
Two negotiators yesterday said that the concession Democrats were getting was to raise the debt ceiling. So within the room there, what concession are you willing to give in order to save the economy?
I'm willing to make America stronger, to curb inflation, less dependency on China, and spend less than we spent the year before. Because you know what? When we're elected, the power is loaned to us from the American public. Who's representing them? It's not my responsibility to represent the socialist wing of the Democratic Party. If the Democrat socialist wing and Bernie Sanders cared so much, they would have passed the bill. They would have done something on the border. It is not my fault they won't take action. It is not my fault that the president would not meet with me for 97 days. I'm sorry, but the moment he was willing to meet with me, I've been there each and every day. And I firmly believe we will get and solve this problem.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says it seems almost certain that the United States won't make it past early June without defaulting. That would be catastrophic as the government risks running out of cash to pay its bills as soon as June 1st. Happening this hour, a groundbreaking for the new home of the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service Midwestern Laboratory. It's just south of I-70 at Natural Bridge Road. Also happening now, an update about the Wellfield situation in St. Charles, a story we've been following. The city of St. Charles has hired 2 law firms to go after Ameren, Missouri. They say the company is to blame for the solvent that got into the city's Wellfield and forced the city to shut down 6 of its 7 drinking wells. As the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency's campus in North St. Louis nears completion, the area around it is now declared as blighted. Zachary Wilson of the St. Louis Development Corporation asked the Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority for the declaration yesterday.
The main reason we're focusing on this area, especially with NGA moving forward, we would like to see a more movement in this area development-wise.
He says the 850 acres surrounding NGA is 61% vacant, and declaring it blighted is the first step toward offering tax incentives to developers to rebuild the area. The KMOX Business Desk: China has defended its ban on products from U.S. memory chip maker Micron Technology and some computer systems after Washington expressed concerns.
The dispute adds to strains over technology and security. A China Foreign Ministry spokesperson saying the security review of Micron products was conducted in accordance with the law, adding the products have unspecified security risks, but gave no details. That came after Washington, Japan, and the Netherlands blocked Chinese access to technology to make advanced processor chips on security grounds at a time when the ruling Communist Party is threatening to attack Taiwan and is more assertive towards his other Asian neighbors. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The Dow from Stifel's down 249 points to 32,805. We've got a stalled vehicle 170 north at 6440. The right lane is closed. Some slow-moving road work on 67 Lindbergh South, north, 67 north at Natural Bridge Road. The left lane is closed. Also a stall 6440 east at Mason, where the right lane is blocked.
KMOX AccuWeather, hot and sunny this afternoon as we approach 90. Temperatures tonight will be mild, mid-60s, mainly clear, and then not as warm tomorrow. Sun and some clouds near 80, within a few degrees of 80 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mid-80s for Memorial Day and could hit 90 Tuesday, and all of those days look dry. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by United States Air Force Band of Mid-America May concerts. It's 82 in Florissant, 80 St. Peter's, 81 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America is bringing you free concerts May 22nd, 24th, and 26th, showcasing patriotic music plus Broadway tunes and more. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.com. That's afbandtix.com.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info at cardinals.com.
Goats. Alderman Joe Vaccaro warned goats can get mean and horny.
What? Holy smokes.
What a
I know.
classic moment.
There's so many of
What
them.
did Carol Daniels just say?
Those goats. Let's play it
Get
again.
mean.
What did she say?
Goats. Alderman Joe Vaccaro warned goats can get mean and horny.
Well, I mean.
Would you like the true story?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, about those horny goats.
Hello.
Hey, Carol Daniel.
How are you? Day before the day.
Oh my gosh.
That's Kevin Killeen writing for you.
So what
Oh,
happened?
he wrote out the word
He
horny.
meant to write ornery and
Close
spelled
enough.
it horny.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of the same thing if you think
But
about
it is not the same thing because
Well-
when we're spelling, we must be exact. And there are many words in the English language, just one letter, just a letter off, it becomes a whole different word.
Yeah. Okay, so when you read it, did you think like,
Sure.
those are horny goats?
Did you know it
Sure.
immediately? that you
Not
said it?
no,
Okay.
no, I did not.
It was an anchor man. Like, do you know what you just said?
I
Kind of
knew
thing.
that I said horny goats.
Oh,
But I was wondering, well, what does that mean? And what does that actually look like on the streets of
Well,
St.
when,
Louis
when
with
two goats love each
when
other?
horny
Very much.
when a
Hey.
boy goat meets a girl goat.
that's right.
Or a girl guy, it's very different.
But don't goats have horns?
Well,
Some goats do.
I mean, they got to grow them first.
Yeah.
So you weren't exactly wrong.
I wasn't wrong there. I mean,
No.
goats can get horny.
Did you
Yeah.
get?
I'm
Well,
sure.
they have to.
They have
Or
to.
there else there wouldn't be any more goats.
Right. I think they just do. I think the human beings
Yeah.
are different in our horniness than
Yeah.
the animal kingdom. The
Oh, there's no
animals are
question about it.
reproducing because they need to.
Mhm.
They
Well,
need to.
But
We're
you gotta
we're
be in
looking
the
at each
mood.
other like, you know what?
Yeah. Well.
Let's get it on.
Yeah. Well.
Huh? How about it? You, me, let's do it.
Yeah.
We don't need to make a baby.
No. No.
We probably shouldn't make a baby.
No. Definitely.
But here
not.
we are.
Yeah.
Dave,
Let's go.
cut that audio right now because we are playing that later
Yes.
in the show.
What did you text me this morning? You were listening this morning.
Oh my gosh. Well, you were talking to Stuart McMillan about the bear, and and Stuart was trying to convince you that the bears were really not threatening at all.
Yeah, whatever.
And Carol's listening to Stuart, and Stuart gives his very earnest assessment of the situation. And Carol goes, I don't believe anything you're saying.
He's like, I have a 100-pound dog and the bear's about twice that size. I'm like, oh, and that's not dangerous?
Yeah.
They're really docile. No, they are not.
Yes, they are.
No, they are
Well,
not.
they can be.
See,
Bears
two,
are mean.
Two different things. And horny. Two different things.
Well, yeah.
Docile, they can be docile. Is that a chance you're willing to take?
With a
Right.
bear
Let's just see if this
or with a
bear's
dog.
docile or not.
I don't know, Ron, what would you rather face? A docile bear or a horny goat?
What day of the week is it? If it's a weekend,
It's and if you're in the Central West End,
hello. That's all that roams around the Central
Or
West End is
Wentzville.
horny goats. What's in Wentzville? They got horny goats rolling around out there.
I don't know. The horny goat sounds like a bar, though, like a bar and brewery.
You know what?
There
I'm
you go.
stealing that. Carol Daniels
Really
in studio
glad
with us.
we're
Carol,
doing this on her like second to
second
last
to
day.
last. It's your penultimate day, Carol.
let's cut loose, man.
How are
We
you
already
feeling?
did, I think.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I am feeling fabulous. I'm feeling surreal. And I am beating back tears.
Hmm.
That's how I'm feeling.
Are you having regrets about making this decision?
Not a
Because you can
one.
unretire. Jordan did it.
Not a one.
Hmm.
Not a one.
That's a weird place to be in, isn't it? That
It's a great place.
you're
That-
happy to
That's
go, but
where I want everyone to arrive. You know what? It's interesting. The common response to me announcing what my husband will call pseudo retirement is people saying, I wish I could. I'm jealous is the other thing that I have heard a great deal. And so if you feel jealous that I'm retiring or you wish you could, I wish you could too. And I wish that if you wanted to, you were able. I want people to, don't we all want to be able
Mhm.
to walk away from it at the appointed time and not be taken out on a stretcher?
Well, that I'm glad we're not taking you out on a
No,
stretcher.
you're not.
But there's being able to, and there's also being ready to. Do you remember when that transition clicked in your head that you were ready?
How long have I
as
been
soon
here?
as we started, probably.
No, it is not.
No.
Just you, Ranj.
Mhm. That's a good question. How long have I been here? 20 years, 27.2 years. No. The process started when we moved our parents here during the pandemic, and it was becoming more difficult, certainly when the previous administration was in the White House. Things were much more difficult. I've told this story recently that during the pandemic, I anchored a newscast. I was still coming into the studio here, and walked out of this studio, Studio B, went to my desk. I sat down, the phone rang, I answered, and KMOX News, may I help you? And the woman said, I used to trust you. And I said, well, I'm glad that you did for as long as you did. That was my immediate response, which threw her off. And she made flustered, sounds in the phone. And she said, well, I just used to trust you. And I said, ma'am, I've not changed. I promise you, I have not changed. And that was one of those moments where I thought, how much longer do I want to be in this hot seat, if you will? And so I understand the result of, the fake news lie, because fake news is news that isn't real. If I tell you that it's snowing right now in downtown St. Louis, that is fake news.
Yep.
If I tell you that it is sunny, let me go to my phone right now. I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to ask Google. I'm not going to ask Google. I'm going to search St. Louis weather. Right now, it's sunny and 83 degrees. If I say it's sunny and 75 degrees, that's not fake news. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
And so what we've dealt with is this specter of that it's all fake news rather than mistakes, and that there's, a bias. And the truth be told, there's always been a bias. Do you remember a time when reports were done and say there was a rape victim and you knew what she was wearing because that was a part of the story, because that was the way that it was reported then. That's the way that we were approached. That's the way that issue was approached. I remember living in Columbia, Missouri, and when I was at Mizzou, and they used to report the ethnicity of the suspect only if they were Black. This is what I would hear in local television news in Columbia. If the suspect was white, you did not hear that. It was 38-year-old male. But if they were Black, it was 38-year-old Black male. And there was a bit of a ruckus over that. Those kinds of things represent bias, and we've always had those kinds of things. And so when the previous president was in office, it almost became untenable to do what we were trying to do. And we were behind the 8 ball, and it was very hard. And when a woman, and I've been on the air here as long as I have, when a woman says, I don't trust you, I thought, me? You don't trust me?
Right.
Like you don't trust me? Did you just say that you don't trust me? Houston, we have a problem. If you don't trust me, that might say all hope is lost, but not in my world. Hope is not lost in my world. But for her, I can't imagine the level of confusion that she's walking around with to think that she can't trust what Carol Daniel is saying.
You said it well, that mistakes are made by the media and have been for decades and decades and decades. But for the most part, the vast majority, we're close, and I'm talking like close to almost all people who are in this business, who are journalists, are trying to get it right. And sometimes they won't, and then they'll have to correct themselves. But it is not this concerted effort to undermine reality with falsities. Like, that's just not how journalists operate. But there's this sense that everybody does that now. Everybody's got an agenda. And it just isn't. And for some people, it might be true. But the vast majority of journalists are trying to get it right.
So what certainly has occurred is that talk radio has always been opinionated. And in the middle of that, there's 60 minutes in an hour, there's 20 minutes of commercials, there's 5 minutes or 6 minutes of news. So the majority of the hour you're listening to opinion. If you're watching television, and the CNN I grew up with is not the CNN that we see now.
Right.
I didn't even have a Fox News growing up. I mean, maybe there was. I never watched it. I don't watch it now, and I don't watch much CNN now. It's just very different. And so now there's just talking heads, some people who actually are journalists, but they're telling you, well, I spoke to the congressman's aide and he said, or she said so and so. But it's all a conversation about the issues. The facts are, you have to dig to get facts. You've got to listen long to get facts. And we're all in our silos. And I will say this to you, St. Louis Metro, you're not any different than the Houston Metro. We're not any different than New York. We're not any different than Chicago. We are an ill-informed public. And so when you are not completely informed, and then you're trying to find facts, and you're given a whole bunch of opinion, it's just the weaker side of us is going to lean towards the opinion, the thing that confirms confirmation bias is real, the thing that confirms what I already feel. And then there's the constant power grab that is politics, that people want to stay in power. They spend all their money raising money so they can be in power, so they can raise more money, so they can be in power, so they can raise more money, so they can be in power, so they can raise more money, and then tell us what to do in the middle of it all. And you talked about, I don't know if it was the two of you, but the number of people, the lack of voters. It was Hancock and Kelly talking about the lack of voting participation in this country. It's dismal in the city of St. Louis. It's dismal in this entire country.
Right.
It's not just the city of St. Louis. So we have a public that isn't engaged, but a public that is afraid. And politicians say, "Ooh, what are you afraid of?
It's an opportunity.
This is an opportunity for me to make more money and be in power longer." So one more question, Amy. Come on.
Okay. Well,
Come on. Don't pay attention to the man behind the screen over there.
Pay no attention to him.
Nobody does.
You've talked a lot about how your life is as important as you are as a news anchor. You are so much more than that. You are very first, a wife and a mother and a woman of faith. Let me rephrase this. For so many people, politics has become a religion. It's become their motivation in life, almost their existential purpose. But it's not. And a friend of mine who's involved in politics, it's what he does. His dad died. And when that happened, he goes, there's so much more than politics and news and headlines. So now that you are retiring, are you excited to be able to devote that time, not to the news, but to being a wife, a mother, a friend, and so forth?
I first of all, yes, I truly am, to not have the stress of the news, the clock, the decision making, who's the guest, what's their title, not to have that hanging over me. We used to joke that, Sunday at 3 or 4 o'clock, you begin, your weekend's over because you're thinking about Monday's guests and Tuesday's show and who did I book for Thursday. And so I'm really happy to not go through another presidential campaign. I'm so thrilled to not have to focus on those things, but I will, because truly politics does impact our day-to-day lives. It really does. Policy impacts us, and the people who try to make policy, who usually have no idea what's on the ground. I definitely want to be on the ground and focus on literacy and women and inherent value. So I am very excited, and my son is here. He'll be leaving in the fall, moving back to Kansas City, and so while I have some time to pour into his life in this critical juncture for him, I am immensely grateful for this time with him, because he needs me now, and I am overjoyed. I'm very, very much aware that this time will never come again, and that what I have to give him and the guidance that my husband and I both intend to give him to propel him to his next level is my greatest opportunity right now. And for me to be able to leave here and not have the pressure that comes with being a news anchor and a talk show host here, I can't tell you how good God is to give me this moment in his life. In my church, we would say I could shout right now and thank God for this time.
Mhm.
So yes,
Yes.
I think that's a yes. I think it's yes. I am excited. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Carol,
Chris Ranji, do you have one more question for me?
I do.
I'm enjoying
I
talking to
do.
you guys. Do I have to go? Can I stay?
Do you
No,
want to
can
stick
stay.
around?
Oh, yes.
Let's
I
do
have
it.
nothing to do in there.
We don't really have anything to do either.
Yeah, we got nothing.
Should we take a break and come back for a minute with Carol? We're going to
Okay.
take a break. We're going to have one more minute, and it's the last minute we're ever going to get with you.
Oh my gosh, don't say that.
On this show. Well, hey, all right, we'll come back in a
Okay,
moment.
we'll come
Carol
back.
Daniel in with us on
Alrighty.
KMOX.
Well, if you're in your car and you're listening, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't get to my destination, or I got to pull over so I can keep listening to Carol Daniel. What you can do is you can get on the highway. You can head on over to St. Charles Nissan. Now is a great time to visit St. Charles Nissan. They're offering 0% APR financing on select Nissan models through May 31st. Now, it's the holiday weekend, so May 31st is going to be here before you know it. You don't want to wait. And this is the end of Nissan's fiscal year. That means they really want to get cars off the lot, and they want to make you a great deal. What's so great about St. Charles Nissan is, well, many things. One, they've got the cars in stock. So when you show up at St. Charles Nissan, you know that you can find the car you're looking for. Also online, if you happen to go to sgcharlesnissan.com, you see a car you like, that's the price you're going to pay. You don't have to worry about haggling over the price. You know what it is. The car's in stock, and it's a really easy process to show up to St. Charles Nissan, buy the car, sign the papers, drive off the lot with your brand new Nissan. Visit them today, 1/4 mile east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70, or stcharlesnissan.com.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. May is National Bike Month, so use your bike instead of your car or for a little bit of exercise. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
SimpliSafe was named Best Home Security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. But we don't do what we do for the accolades. We do it to protect you and everything you love. Our advanced sensors, indoor and outdoor HD cameras, and hazard detectors are powered by live 24/7 professional monitoring, so you get emergency help fast. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Here's a financial tip from Discover with CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger. It's college graduation season, but graduates also need to focus on paying down debt. Here's Jill.
Focus on the highest interest loans and then systematically work your way down to the lower interest ones.
I just learned Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned doubled. The cash back from your trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com. or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Too many businesses sell for far less than they should. Clayton Capital Partners is one of the nation's top independent investment banking firms for the middle market, representing clients nationwide in multiple industries. Our process is designed to uncover and make the most of your company's competitive advantage. Create a sales strategy that highlights your company's value to potential buyers and identify outrageous buyers who will pay a premium for your business. All owners will exit their business. Make sure it is on your terms. ClaytonCapitalPartners.com.
Manor Grove has been caring for seniors for over a century. Everyone at Manor Grove is treated like family, and that's exactly how our residents should feel, like family. Our staff strives to make Manor Grove feel like home. Be assured, your loved one will be well taken care of at Manor Grove. The entire Manor Grove team views everyone inside as family and looks forward to seeing residents and coworkers every day. See for yourself at manorgrove.com and take our virtual tour. Welcome home to Manor Grove. News, talk, sports. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. The Ways and Means
Carol,
play that again.
Carol is interrupting.
Play that again.
Poor Kevin Killeen trying to record something in the newsroom, and she sneezes.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. The Ways and Means
Wait, the truth is, where's the tape of Kevin blowing his nose at any given moment?
I don't know.
It's in there. It's in there.
That
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. The Ways and Means
How do you know that's me?
It's totally you.
Oh, it's
because
you.
you started laughing
Yeah.
after. That was definitely you. Oh, that's
I was
so
holding
funny.
it. I was holding it as long as I couldn't get out of the newsroom fast enough. He always interrupts us.
Oh yeah, he
He's
does.
I mean, the Kevin Killeen nose blow. I mean, it's legendary.
So that actually happened during a live. I was doing a live, and Charlie Brennan didn't turn his mic off
and sneezed.
No, he blew his nose directly into the mic, and
that's
I
awesome.
died. And of course, Chris Myhill kept that audio, so we've got that somewhere. But yeah,
I have the greatest Chris Myhill story, though.
yeah.
So one day I come in here to anchor the news, and I didn't have my headphones, which you should always have your headphones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Chris had left YouTube running. He was playing some orchestral music from YouTube. And I couldn't hear it because I didn't have my headphones on. And when you turn the mic on, everything else is muted. It's playing to the audience, but you can't hear it. And so in this room, you can see people coming towards the studio. And I see Chris running. Now, meanwhile, I am going, Kevin Killeen is live, and I go to Kevin. Kevin Killeen's live on whatever the story was. This music is playing under the entire my intro and Kevin's story, and it is dun da da 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 dun da da. Kevin is like, "We're live on 270." Dun da da dun da da dun. And I see Chris Myhill come running. And he comes around the board and he just slams down the audio dials, just slams down the pots. And I am looking, and my heart is going to burst from embarrassment. Because at this moment, I now know something was playing. And that audio is somewhere. Michael Calhoun has to have.
We need that.
We need that audio.
We'll find it somewhere.
I think we should have orchestral music under the news stories.
It
I'm
was.
Carol Daniel. Da, 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 da.
Here's the sad part. Nobody called and said, what is that? What is that music? It was Kevin. We just assumed.
They probably thought, well, he must have done that on purpose.
He must have done that on purpose. He's Horny Goats guy. He
People
did
are
that.
like, that's so Kevin.
Carol, we did not approve of your retirement. So next time you're going to make a big decision like this, could you please run it by Amy and me?
Well, what will my next big decision be?
I
I'm
don't
going to sell
know.
my
You
house.
just have to.
I'm going to sell my house. Or am I approved to sell my house at some point in time? Is that
Well,
okay
wait,
with the two
why-
of
are you
Yeah, where are you going though?
Because we need to downsize.
Okay.
Okay, but you're going to stay around here.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, close
I mean-
enough. Will it be close enough that I can get to it?
You don't know where I live now.
I'll figure it out.
Don't you go asking HR for my address unless you're going to mail me a gift.
Well, you were the one that said you didn't want to have any babies with him.
What?
What? No.
That's how we're going to leave this?
What?
Are you kidding me?
I think I misunderstood.
Yeah, you totally did.
You messed that up.
Carol.
Mark scores. Scores again.
I'm so sorry.
You can't even be I need you as a buffer between Amy and me. Carol, we love you very much. Enjoy your retirement.
I will
we
still
didn't
be
approve
working.
of your retirement,
No,
but
we
we are
don't.
happy for you. We love you.
You know, it's a good thing that the two of you don't have enough control that you could have approved or disapproved.
Yeah, we love you, Carol.
That you approve of my
We
life.
approve. We approve of your life.
Moving on.
We just talked right past the music.
Oh,
we were. Carol, we were.
I heard music.
Do you know that noise? That's us. We're playing you off. Do you know the noise? They would have to literally get the hook for Carol if she were given an acceptance speech.
Yeah. Because that's what we just did.
We did. We love you.
We love you,
Bye,
Carol.
Carol.
Thank you so
That's
much.
Carol Daniel. Her last day is tomorrow. Listen to her in the morning on KMOX.
It'll be great.
Your next Ozarks adventure is in Springfield, Missouri. Float on the river or hike on the trails, and then finish the day at the most crave-worthy dining and craft beverage spots in the city before taking in some great live entertainment in a historic theater on Route 66. Springfield is also home to the Springfield Cardinals baseball team, many caves ready to explore, and the wonders of Wildlife National Museum and Aquarium. Plan your trip at springfieldmo.org. Produced in cooperation with Visit Missouri.
At 11:32, it's sunny and 83 degrees downtown at the Arch. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's sending Republican negotiators to the White House to finish out debt limit talks, but he's warning that the two sides are still far apart as they try to reach a budget deal with President Joe Biden. McCarthy says he remains optimistic they can make progress in hopes of an agreement before a deadline as soon as next week, when the Treasury Department could run out of cash to pay the government's bills. A bill requiring school districts offer all-day kindergarten passed the Illinois legislature and awaits the governor's signature. Representative Harry Benton.
This is about working families and early development.
Districts will have until fall 2027 to have all-day kindergarten in place. Those opposed to the bill say it will stress schools that are already understaffed. Attorneys general across the U.S. have joined a lawsuit against a telecommunications company accused of making more than 7.5 billion robocalls to people on the National Do Not Call registry. They've got road work on 55 South at Revis Barracks. The left lane is closed. A stall on 70 West before 270. The right lane is closed. The forecast is sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Hot and sunny this afternoon with a high approaching 90. Clear tonight, the low 65. For tomorrow, some sunshine with a high of 80. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. It's 83 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Okay, I'm ready to record my jewelry store's new radio spot. We got a great script that really goes after Diamonds Direct and how they're nothing special and how we can match their price. Great stuff. Yeah.
Great. And we have this new technology that bleeps out any false claims, so it saves us time with editing. So you can start anytime.
Okay, here it goes. When you visit our jewelry store, we'll absolutely guarantee direct. Our diamonds come straight from the mine. We have cutters and hey, what the?
The hard truth is that other jewelry stores simply can't do what Diamonds Direct can. Diamonds Direct has special relationships with De Beers, international connections, and virtually unlimited buying power. The result is true direct importer pricing, exceptional quality, and up to 30 times the diamond selection you find at other stores.
I can't believe this thing won't let me say
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get more truth at diamondsdirect.com.
Product owner for Equifax Inc. in St. Louis, Missouri, to collaborate with degreed members of the business and IT delivery teams to identify and mitigate complex computing system risks, which include business operational risks and advanced issues. Requires a bachelor's degree in computer science or related field, willing to accept foreign education equivalent plus 5 years of experience in managing product enhancements and requirements for development teams in a technical product support capacity, or alternatively, a master's degree in computer science or related field, willing to accept foreign education equivalent, and 3 years of experience in managing product enhancements and requirements for development teams in a technical product support capacity. Email resume to jobs.opportunities@equifax.com. Reference position number 11148. Again, Equifax Inc. in St. Louis, Missouri seeks a product owner. Email resume to jobs.opportunities@equifax.com. Reference position number 11148.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt. Hi, I'm Miles Michaelis.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's the Cards and Reds tonight. Ameren Total Access 445. First pitch 540.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Now the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
2-2 delivery is hit high in the air, deep to right field. Backing up to the track, looking up, and it's gone. Another home run for Paul Goldschmidt. This one to right field. A solo shot in the first, and now a solo shot in the third inning, and the Cardinals lead 4-1.
Look at these Cardinals. They're really making it happen. Completely different team than they were 3 weeks ago. It is KMOX, Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. We are joined now by John Rooney as we go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. We talk to John every Wednesday at 11:30 here. This is the home of your St. Louis Cardinals, and we'll give you Cardinals talk every day. John, what's up, man? This is so much different. This is so much better than what we were looking at 3 weeks ago.
Well, Chris, Amy, it is because you mentioned the word team. I think they're becoming one. That's something that we saw out of spring training. Finally, a group of players playing together. They didn't get to do that much because of the World Baseball Classic. And rotation is starting to take shape. Adam Wainwright was able to get a little deeper into the game last night, which the Cardinals desperately needed to keep the bullpen lined up for the next two games of the series and going into the weekend against Cleveland. And keep in mind, they have two more games against the Royals after that before they get 2 days off. That will be a stretch of 19 games. So trying to keep people fresh, trying to keep people ready, and at the same time win baseball games. It's a balancing act for Oliver Marmol and his staff, and right now they're handling that very well.
You know, you mentioned this becoming a team. These guys they seem to be more cohesive. I feel like sometimes when we say stuff like that, it's just we don't know exactly what it is or why they are playing better. So we'll assign it to they're just, they are a more cohesive unit than they used to be. But are you seeing signs that maybe that is what is going on here, that they are playing as a team as opposed to what was happening just a few weeks ago?
Well, I think it all began with the preparation. There was no lack for preparation when they were losing ball games. They went about it the same way, put a ton of time in there, and they spent a lot of time welcoming Wilson Contreras, I should say, to the team after Wilson came over from the Cubs all those years, an all-star, a lot of time behind the plate. But there were things he needed to learn, like how to call the game with this particular pitching staff and go into some other minor details that actually turned out to be major things that have helped Wilson get better and better, and he continues that development. But I think that part helped a lot of guys come together. But to see the preparation now turn into wins and they're getting results they expected, I think that's bringing them closer together. And by playing more games together, they're on the same page. So I think that's why we're starting to see these guys having some fun with this. And Paul DeJong playing shortstop just seems right to me, where he can play shortstop. You hit the ball to him, you're out. But he's getting results at the plate and having fun. That allows the Cardinals to put Tommy Edman at second or put him in right field when Gorman plays second, or put Brendan Donovan at first base, right field, left field, shortstop occasionally filling in, or third base, and let Donovan do what he does best. You're seeing those things start to click in, and that's where I see this becoming more and more of a team. And the bullpen is doing a really good job. The starters are starting to come along, and that's another area in the pitching that I think is helping develop this team.
You know, again, if I go back 3 weeks and where the Cardinals were, they were in last in the entire National League. And here we are just a few weeks later. I know we're not 2 months through the season yet. We're getting to that point, but we're not quite there yet. You've got Tom Verducci, a longtime baseball writer, who just posted a story to SI. And the headline is, the fourth place Cardinals are MLB's team to beat. No, really. It's amazing that that's where we are right now, considering the way they looked and the way they were playing just a few weeks ago. You really don't see turnarounds like this very often in baseball.
Well, we expected the offense to do what it has done over the last, let's say, 3 weeks. And they had a lot of young players in the lineup that started to hit the ball hard, right? 2 people, or they happened to strike out at a key moment. And I think some of those players started to doubt whether they could stay at the big league level much longer performing like that. They needed to get that out of their heads. And I think with the win over Detroit, when they broke the 8-game losing streak, Detroit rallied to take a 3-run lead in the 6th inning. And that looked like, here we go again. There's the 9th straight loss. But they rallied for 7 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. And since then, the offense has been humming with very few exceptions. So I think that took the edge off of the offense. And to get the pitchers to go a little bit deeper, that's the thing about tonight's starter, Steven Matz. Matz has been getting better his last 3 starts, yet we get to the 5th inning and he's very close to 90 or 100 pitches. And the last time he had a really good start was here in Cincinnati when he injured his knee. I think he was in the 7th inning at that point, but he was brilliant that night. I'd like to see some flashbacks tonight and see Matz pitch against the Reds that way, and that would do a world of good for his confidence.
You mentioned how this lineup has come together as a team, and it wasn't that long ago that the whole situation with Wilson Contreras happened. And just looking back on it now and how the teams moved forward, that couldn't have been easy for Contreras to go through as a new member of the Cardinals, and it seems that he handled the whole thing pretty adeptly.
I think everybody did. The old saying is, it takes a village to raise the child. Well, it took a whole team to get together to make him feel welcome. And they really like having him in the clubhouse, on the roster, and on the team. And we know what he can do when he gets into a hot streak. Right now, he's scuffling to get a hit. But when he turns it around, he could carry a team for 10 days to 2 weeks with his power numbers, doubles and home runs and RBIs. And they wanted to make him feel welcome and get him over a hurdle where he could get back there to catch 4 or 5 days a week. Also get Kisner involved in the mix. And lo and behold, Andrew Kisner is starting to hit the ball the way he did in the minors when he hit 300. And he's a contributor offensively. And I think his game behind the plate gets better and better because of all the preparation he does to go out there to catch his pitching staff. And Wilson Contreras is observing that, but working closely with Dusty Rhodes and with Oliver and with other coaches on the team. I think Wilson Contreras is getting better and better and more comfortable. I think that's a big key, become more comfortable with the way the Cardinals do things compared to the way he had to work with the Cubs. And now he's a major contributor behind the plate too.
What an improvement by Paul DeJong, who for a long period of time after signing that contract just was disappointing and got sent down. And he is a completely different player. At least he's a completely different hitter. The defense has always been there for him, but he's been outstanding offensively, and it's been a nice boost. We see the results. We know what's happened. Why is this happening? Why has he been so good since he's been called back up?
I think he's having fun, Chris, and I don't think he allowed himself to do that. One of his biggest problems was he's so darn smart that I think he was thinking, and overthinking, and then overreacting. And too much analysis leads to paralysis sometimes. And that's what happened to him. Now he allows himself to enjoy the moment, enjoy the day. He is so well prepared, and I think he takes his hitting game plan into a game and is able to stay with it as well as anybody up and down the roster. Yes, he's going to strike out some. They all are. It's part of the game today. But when he gets hits, and there are times he gets walks that happen at a very important time, and I commented to him yesterday, I saw him here at the hotel before going to the ballpark, said, lately, when you get on base, you score runs. And check out the box scores. He's getting some runs scored right now and is helping so much at the plate. And then you never know when he's going to run into one, like he did the 3-run home run Monday night that gave the Cardinals a brief lead. That's a big part of the Cardinal offense as well. So Oliver has some things to work with Paul DeJong and where he positions him in the lineup around other hitters to help the other hitters, and thus the other hitters can help Paul. So it just seems right with him playing shortstop, though, right now. And that filled a need for the Cardinals where they can use Tommy Edman and Brendan Donovan to the best of their abilities all over the field.
Also, he went to Illinois State, and Redbirds always win. So that doesn't,
Yeah,
eventually
they
come out on top.
Yeah, big time Redbirds, that's for sure.
John Rooney, we love you. It's 4:45 pregame show tonight, and then the first pitch.
Yes, we're in a time machine. We're an hour later.
Yeah, you're an hour later, so don't listen to me. Like, you show up Eastern time. We're talking Central time here for the locals.
I keep my phone on Central time just because of that.
Very good.
Smart.
5:40 is the pregame, or 5:40 is the first pitch. Cardinals and Reds tonight. We'll talk soon, John. Call us a winner.
I hope so. This was always a pleasure to be on with you guys on the show.
Oh,
see?
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. We knew you meant it.
For now.
Oh, God. This guy. Bye, John Rooney.
Bye, John.
Talk to you next week.
That's John Rooney. He's the voice of the Cardinals with us on KMOX. Again, 4:45 pregame tonight and a 5:40 first pitch. Oh, my God, baseball. They're playing so well. They're still 6 games under 500, but they were 14 under 500.
Well, they're 6 games under 500, but they're only 5 games out.
Unbelievable. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Stuart McMillan's going to bring in a black bear next on KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're from Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Hi, it's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, 12990 Manchester Road, just a half mile west of 270. I was there this year for my annual eye health examination, and I'm so happy that I did. Not only is my vision in good shape, but now I have peace of mind that I have good health. You see, an eye health examination can detect many health issues like diabetes or high blood pressure. So it's nice to know that they were able to check me over. Also, it was covered by my medical insurance, and I did not realize that the first time that I went for an annual eye exam. So that's terrific. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer, very thankful for them. Ophthalmology Associates, the doctors, 314-966-5000. You should also schedule your eye exam and reach out to them. And when you do, tell them that Tom Ackerman sent you to Ophthalmology Associates. Also online at youridoc.com.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
Spark St. Louis is the newest collaborative co-working office space located in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals and features over 80 private offices, day pass options, monthly networking events, conference room, and special event amenities, while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. Schedule your tour today by visiting Spark St. Louis online at spark-stl.com.
I'm listening daily. Here's Demi Lovato on how she stays positive.
The forms of self-care that I'm engaging in during this painful but necessary moment in history, I'm meditating a lot, whether it's like in between breaks on set or it's starting my day. Meditation has become key to me. Also just taking care of myself in other ways, making sure I get rest, things like that.
For more details, go to imlistening.org.
Sponsored by Compass Health Network. We're here for you.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Now, Carol's favorite moment, sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck.
This memory is one that most people aren't aware of. The holiday radio show in 1999 took place when I was 9 months pregnant. My son, Marcus Isaiah Daniel, was born December 17th, 1999. The show took place a week before at the Sheldon, and I was in labor the entire show. I would go out on stage, do my lines, and then I would go backstage and I would sit down.
Well, as any woman would know, when it's your second, you don't take any chances.
You do not take any
It
chances.
can happen at any time.
Not to be too detailed, but going on stage and thinking I might go into labor any moment now was a little bit disconcerting.
Yeah. And the ability to just breathe.
Right. Was very hard.
This has been Carol's favorite moment, sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best. ChesterfieldFence.com.
As I prepare to leave KMOX after 28 years, I think about all the relationships I formed. One of those is with Tom and Sherry Thiel. They're the owners of Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Their craftsmen built our bronze aluminum fence nearly 10 years ago, still framing our backyard beautifully. And although I am retiring, you'll still hear my voice on KMOX telling you why Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the company to call to transform your backyard with a patio, deck, or pergola. I'm not going anywhere, and neither are they. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Under Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million.
McKelvey Homes is celebrating their 125th anniversary and kicking off a new promotion that offers $12,500 off options on to-be-built homes. That's $12,500 off. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to learn more.
Guess what's back and live in person this year? St. Louis County Greek Fest. Join us for great music, dancing, tours of the church, and all that delicious, authentic Greek food favorites. This weekend, May 26th through 29th. More info at stlgreekfest.com. This is a cashless event.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Bertie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Prepare an emergency kit, sign up for local alerts, and make a family communications plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Amy Markscourt. Fabulous. Chris Ranji. Unbelievable. On the show.
All right, Stuart McMillan in from the newsroom.
Hurry up, Stuart.
I know. We got news to do here.
Tell us about the Bears.
Okay. What was that?
I don't know.
I hear bears. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, so what happened?
Dave, dude, seriously, calm down over there. Gosh.
That doesn't
The
sound
Bears-
like a bear. What is that?
What's
Hold
that
on.
last
Stop
guy?
yawning. He's bored of the show.
That doesn't sound like a bear. All right, so there are bears in Jeffco, huh?
There was.
We killed it?
He's dead.
He got runned over.
Oh, that ain't good. Why are you laughing at the dead
Yeah,
bear?
come on.
Come on.
That's awful.
There was
Wait,
a-
the second bear?
Well, there's possibly just one now. They think it's just one bear, and it got hit yesterday in Jefferson County.
That's
at
not
55 and
surprising.
67. I know this happened a year ago in Peevely.
Yeah.
At 55 as well. That was a semi though.
Is Peevely Jefferson County?
It is.
What? Watch where you're driving, Jeffco. Jeez Louise.
Well, I think it was like 9:00 at night last night. So a black bear. I mean, literally, it's black and it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Roaming around the roads. You don't expect to see a black bear on the road at all.
You're supposed to wear bright clothing at that time of night.
So they think it's just one now. Maybe they can't hear it. They're driving.
Oh.
They're driving down the road. Maybe I'll hear it. That'll keep me from hitting it.
This is not funny. A
No,
bear
it's
died.
not. Jefferson County.
So do
Watch
we have to
where
be on
you're
the
going.
Do we have to be on the lookout for bears now?
I think so. I think that, you have the signs that say, look out for deer.
Mhm.
I think that you have to think the same thing with bears now, black bears, that is, in Jefferson County. Now, these aren't like grizzly bears.
Yeah.
They're black bears. They're smaller, and they're usually younger, the ones that are roaming away from the nest, more or less. Conservation agent was telling me just yesterday that there's 850 to 1,000 black bears in Missouri now.
Oh.
The population's been growing and growing. Most of them live in the Ozarks, and they roam around after mama kicks them out of the nest.
Are they being
Says, "Get out of here."
displaced from somewhere else?
They've been roaming up from Arkansas as that population's grown. They've just kind of trickled in. Now they're natural to Missouri, so hey, get used to it, folks.
Everyone's going to the Ozarks. Like
Even the bears.
It is growing.
It's for the bears.
Yeah.
Is it?
The
You gotta be
Ozarks?
Well, I mean, bears aren't building $10 million homes there.
Well, you don't know that. When was the last time you've been?
Well, I
Well, not this one. He got hit.
Yeah,
in Jefferson
he's
County.
a goner.
But this wasn't Ben the bear, was it?
No, that was a grizzly. He's out of town.
No. Ben the bear was a black bear. No, it was an Andean
The one
bear.
in the Galleria?
The Galleria?
No, that's another
The
bear.
zoo.
Keep your bear straight.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
no, the zoo bear was not a grizzly. I'm sorry.
He
Yeah,
escaped.
You were right, but it moved away.
Have we had any grizzlies come through?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No.
Grizzlies don't go to the
They're
Ozarks.
big-
Idiot.
Those are like 5 times the size of a black bear.
Stuart
And by the way,
hates
there's never been a human attacked by a black bear in Missouri, so don't be fearful.
Oh, but you got to make noise, right?
That's
Yeah,
because
clap
Jeffco-
loudly.
Bear.
Get away! Get out of here!
No, that's because Jeffco keeps running over them.
Yeah, stop running over them. They're gonna come back at you like Jaws 4. Remember that shark chased down a whole family?
I didn't know there was a 4.
I didn't
That's-
either.
Yeah, Stuart McMillan. Thank you for
Bye.
the information.
Black bears.
It's KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Right now is a great time to get a new Hyundai at St. Charles Hyundai, the #1 volume Hyundai dealership in the St. Louis metro area since 2015. You know what's hot in Hyundais right now? The 2023 Tucson N-Line. And St. Charles Hyundai has them in stock and ready to go. It's a high-performance, sporty SUV. It is the vehicle to test drive and own today. And you can get 0% APR financing on select Hyundai models through May 31st. StCharlesHyundai.com.
Can you imagine a magical world
filled with elves and fairies
and pixies and sprites
whose only job is to make people happy?
They want to see you smile
and laugh
and sing
and dance a little.
These magical beings will suddenly appear
when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And then you'll look at babies and smile.
And tell delivery people to have a wonderful day.
And wave at your neighbors whenever you see them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The check engine light is on in Washington, but politicians keep driving the cars if nothing is happening. There it is again. It's Social Security. A new government report says the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out by the year 2035. If that happens, it would cause all beneficiaries to take more than a 20% cut to their benefits. What does that mean for you? When should you start taking benefits? And how can you get every dollar of Social Security you're entitled to? The team at Heisey Advisory Group has been helping families optimize their Social Security benefits for over 17 years, and they can do the same for you. Give them a call, 314-328-4400 to schedule your visit with one of the advisors at Heisey Advisory Group. Again, that's 314-328-4400.
Our firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory products and services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, and SEC-registered investment advisors. Security products and services made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. AEFS and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC are not affiliated.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's sunny and 84 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, the city and county of St. Charles sue Ameren for a chemical contamination in drinking water wells.
The lawsuit seeks millions of dollars in damages from Ameren, Missouri, blaming the utility for a solvent contamination in the well water system that has forced the city of St. Charles to close 6 of its 7 wells and buy relief water from the city of St. Louis. At this point, as the lawsuit is now just getting started, the mayor of St. Charles says there are no plans to have any water rationing in the city of St. Charles. At the St. Charles County Courthouse, Kevin Killeen, KMOX News.
The showdown over the debt ceiling continues in Washington, with officials on both sides of the aisle continuing talks over the nation's borrowing limit. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy spoke on the progress of negotiations. CBS's Scott McFarland has the details from Capitol Hill.
Speaker McCarthy having his latest in a growing series of media availabilities, news conferences, to restate his position that it's up to the White House and Democrats to now come up with something they can pass to either meet in the middle with House Republicans and their bill, or to find some other third way.
New questions are being raised about the nation's top drug enforcement agency.
The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration has failed to act on a court order to strip the operating license of drug distributor Morris & Dixon over its role in fueling the nation's opioid crisis. Craig Holman is with the watchdog group Public Citizen.
The DEA sat on that court order literally for 4 years. It did nothing.
A former key consultant for the drug distributor is now second in command at the DEA. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
California's Attorney General is set to consider whether a Walgreens security guard accused of fatally shooting a suspected shoplifter in San Francisco last month will face charges.
If Attorney General Rob Bonta finds the decision not to charge a Walgreens security guard was contrary to the evidence, his office can then lead its own investigation, gather its own evidence, and ultimately file its own charges if warranted. Attorney John Burris represents Banco Brown's family.
There's a real feeling amongst the family and others in the community that this was a case where the facts suggested and looked like it was murder or voluntary manslaughter.
San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins welcomes the review, but says there wasn't enough evidence to convince 12 jurors beyond a reasonable doubt.
There is nothing to rebut his statements regarding the fact that he acted in self-defense.
Mike DeWald for CBS News, San Francisco.
Be black bear aware.
A black bear was struck and killed at I-55 and US 67 in Jefferson County Tuesday. Conservation agent Corporal Alexis Wilson says as the population grows, they'll see more.
The population for the state sits about 850 to 1,000. And then this time of year, the bears are starting to become active. And we usually get a handful of calls.
Wilson believes the black bear killed is the one first sighted around Festus last week. A little under a year ago, a black bear was also struck and killed on 55 in Peevely. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Down from Steeples, down 259 points to 32,795. And at the moment, we've got some slow-moving road work on 55 south at Revis Barracks. The left lane is closed. A stalled vehicle on 70 west before 270. Right there, the right lane is closed.
It's going to be a hot and sunny afternoon with a high approaching 90. Mild tonight as we drop down to 65. Not as warm tomorrow, but we'll see some sunshine. We'll get back to near 80, and we'll be in the upper 70s, low 80s with a nice start to the holiday weekend, warming up to 85 on Memorial Day. And that looks mostly sunny. I'm Accu with meteorologist Dean DeVore on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by McKelvey Homes. It's 84 in Florissant, 83 St. Peters, 84 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info at cardinals.com. Time to rewind the show. This is the show recap.
What an eventful day today, Amy Marks Kors and I have had. Glad you're visiting with us during your lunch hour.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're at work right now listening on your lunch hour, which is exactly what you should be doing on the Odyssey app or KMOX.com. It's all live. Podcasts are there as well. We started the show by talking about the man from Chesterfield, 19 years old. Clearly, something's not right with this fella who got a one-way ticket on a plane to Dulles, in Washington, D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
rented a box truck, a U-Haul,
Yeah.
and tried to drive it through the gate outside
And
the White House. He was unsuccessful.
it was an empty box truck. There was there was no weaponry, no explosives, so that's good. That's great. But my initial question was why would he go through the trouble of renting a box truck to put 0 things in it except for a Nazi flag and his notebook? Well, you can rent a box truck at 18. You cannot rent a car at 18. You have to be 25 to rent a car. So I guess this kid realized if I take my one-way ticket to Dulles, I'll have to rent a U-Haul truck because that's the only thing I can rent at the age of 19. I didn't realize that. This guy had no plan. He's nuts. He is, they've said, very unstable, which is imminently clear by this quote-unquote plan that he worked on for 6 months. What was the plan? It was to drive a box truck into the barriers at Lafayette Park, not even very close to the White House. No weaponry, no explosives, just a Nazi flag. And he told...
And duct tape.
And duct tape. And he told police officers he was going to take over the White House and seize control of the country. And he implied that he would kill President Biden if that were necessary. But again, this wasn't a plan. It was a 19-year-old who crashed a U-Haul truck.
So clearly it's somebody who needs a great deal of help.
He was,
and we talk about mental illness in this country, and every time any massacre happens with a gun, immediately people in power will jump to, don't blame the guns, it's mental illness. Okay, well, all right, what do we do about this guy? What do we do about people like him?
Well, and I'm glad he didn't have a gun.
Absolutely. Yes, people are alive right now because he didn't have a weapon on him other than a U-Haul truck.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we going to do about the mental illness? What do we do about people who have been, and I don't know how this person got radicalized, if he did, or if he just latched on to this thing about Hitler and the Nazis, or what? Who knows what this guy's thinking?
Yeah.
What do we do about people like that who are very easily influenced by hate speech? What do we do about people like that?
Well, and I don't know, and I don't think you can stop all of it because mental illness will be an issue that we have to deal with as a society. What we do know is that he graduated a semester early from Marquette High School, and they have discovered that he had shown signs. Like, it's not a surprise that he was mentally ill. He had not had any run-ins with authorities, and I don't believe he had an online trail of hateful rhetoric or musings. However, I think it was known that he did have issues. And my goodness, for him to talk to law enforcement just openly, like he ran out of the U-Haul truck, started waving the Nazi flag, telling them that he was going to seize control of the country, seize control of the White House. He had no weaponry on him, and that he admired Hitler and the Nazis. Just a sick person.
You have this story. You had the story last year after the Dobbs verdict came out of the man who went outside Justice Kavanaugh's house, who had weapons with him, called the police and told them, hey, I'm outside this house. I have this briefcase with this weapon in it, and I'm not doing well right now. And they came and arrested him.
Mm-hmm.
In both cases, nobody was hurt, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But these are mentally unstable people. And the next mentally unstable person hopefully will not be successful in doing whatever they were planning to do. We did talk to Major Garrett about this situation and what it means.
Now, there are a couple of reasons why this story is less frightening than it otherwise could have been. He had no weapons. He had nothing else in the box truck like explosives. Every indication from those who interacted with him immediately is that he has severe mental illness problems and was rambling incoherently about wanting to take over the White House, take over the country, take over the world, vague references to harming the president and the vice president. I mean, this is a person not remotely attached to reality, and therefore probably did not pose the kind of threat that somebody who was more intricate and experienced or quote unquote skilled in creating an act of terror would have been. But still, It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was alarming to people who witnessed it. And it was our lead story on the evening news last night because it's so newsworthy and shocking.
It is. And we joked about it because nobody got hurt. It could have been a whole lot worse, but he clearly didn't have a real actual plan that he was willing to execute or able to.
Clumsy, inept, all of that.
Yeah, it's a person who was unstable. But the contention that I made at the start of the show was it was national news. It did get mentioned. But here in St. Louis, if somebody 20 years ago, a Chesterfield person, the exact same situation, got a Nazi flag and duct tape, flew to Washington, rented a box truck, and tried to ram the gates like this person did. Had that happened 20 years ago, that's all we would have been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have been talking about anything else yesterday. The news here is covering it as they should, but it's not all they're talking about. It's not all people are talking about. I would venture to guess that there aren't. I bet half the people in the area don't even know what happened, or they may have heard something a little bit like it. And the reason I think it's like this right now is because everything is so weird. Everything is so dumb. And there's so much bad that's going on in the country, in the world over the last, I don't know, several years, that stuff like this, when it happens, if nobody gets hurt, we just go, oh, that was odd.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move on to the next thing. And even if somebody did get hurt, I bet we quickly move on to the next thing. But if this had been 20 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about anything else.
Yeah, well, it is. Part of it is that we are just so connected that all of the world's tragedies, and on a global scale, and all of the world's scandals, controversies, and nonsense on a local scale are all our business now. If it happens in some random town in Tennessee, we know about it.
Yeah.
I think
there's always been an element of that, though. We've always had national news, and people have watched and been, I think, pretty connected as much as they could be.
Not in the way that social media, though, makes all the news, our smartphones, available to us all the time. And I think because there's so much competing for our attention, a lot of it unserious, that unless it is a tragedy, not a near tragedy, but an actual tragedy with mass casualties, we just move on to the next thing. It's not unlike the way TikTok works. Every few seconds we scroll, we see the next video or the Instagram Reels. That's almost how we consume our news, in little snippets. And in order for it to stick with us, it either has to be a tragedy or it has to make us super mad.
Well, people are angry all the time now.
Yeah.
Everybody's mad all the time now. We also visited with Carol Daniel, who is retiring. Her last day is tomorrow here at KMOX. And here's what you missed if you missed the show.
We're looking at each other like, you know what?
Yeah, well.
Let's get it on.
Yeah, well.
Huh? How about it? You, me, let's do it.
Yeah.
We don't need to make a baby.
No.
We probably shouldn't make a baby.
No, definitely
But here
not.
we are.
So there's a lot of that.
That was Chris Ranji and Carol Daniel.
Yeah.
On her second to last day. You know, when they say that you clock out and anything goes, they are not kidding.
She has had senioritis for probably 2 months now. And Carol is wonderful, delightful, all of the fulls. We love her. And it sucks that she's leaving.
And she didn't ask us.
She did not ask
ask
permission.
if it was okay.
She just said, see ya.
That was hurtful.
Very hurtful.
Also, someone who's had to bear the brunt of, everyone, is Stuart McMillan. Poor guy. He's got his bear story. Well, first of all, it started this morning with the bear story as Stuart was telling Carol all about it. And Carol just said, I don't believe anything you're saying. Because Stuart was trying to tell her that the bear was not a threat. She wasn't buying it.
Well, the bear clearly was some kind of threat. Because it was out in the middle of the street.
So then Stuart gave us the bear update, and that update is he's dead. Not
the
Stuart,
bear's dead.
The bear.
And if you're in Jeffco, really anywhere in Missouri, just be on the lookout for bears. They are encroaching.
There have been 2
moving their way
bears run over in the past year. Both of them are in Jeffco. I think we can
That's
just
right.
talk to the people in Jeffco at this point and say, listen,
I
I don't know
totally
what
agree.
you're doing out there. but stop running over the bears.
Stop killing bears.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You're better than that.
Don't you say that. That makes me. I'm mad for them now.
Yeah.
I'm mad for the people in Jeffco that you said that.
Listen, I'm saying this as a Franklin County person. We haven't hit any bears. It's not like we're high and mighty out in Franklin County. We get it. We're Franklin County. We're not running over bears. Come on, Jefferson
County. We
County.
have a texter who took exception to you earlier, referring to Chesterfield as the Fields of Chester. And the texter from a 314 says, Fields of Chester must be funny to rich West County people, but not to us regular folks. You know what?
In Chesterfield or where?
I don't know. You're what do you think the rich West County people are?
I don't know. I'm out in Franklin County.
Yeah, you're basically out that way. And I agree. Us regular
Sounds like
folks.
somebody is a little jealous of the Fields of Chester.
They are. And so am I. I'm a regular folk.
Yeah.
And I agree with this texter.
If there's one thing about Chesterfield, it's not full of regular folks.
No, I'm a regular folk.
Have you ever been to Chesterfield? There's like a bazillion people who live out there.
Yeah. All rich people.
You live in the central West End. Do you know who doesn't live there? I don't. You know why? Too expensive.
I don't have a home.
I don't have a home.
Well.
I don't even know what we're fighting about at this point.
What are we fighting about?
I'm not going to let this jealous Chesterfield guy ruin our day.
Hey, I get it. I identify with this person from a 314.
Oh, get serious.
Yeah. Well, you rich West County
serious.
people.
Go Chesterfield. I mean, not the guy.
Some of us work for a
Chesterfield.
living.
Oh my gosh.
That's Amy Marks Kors. When we come back, we're going to hear her grievances. Amy has grievances.
I've got a lot. One of them sitting over to my left.
On KMOX.
All right. Well, I'm going to move past grievances at this point and talk about something that I'm actually pretty darn excited about, and that is Genesis of St. Charles. Now, if you are in the market for a luxury vehicle and you haven't checked out a Genesis, what's wrong with you? You're missing out. It really is the best kept secret. You got to go to Genesis of St. Charles to see the difference in a true luxury vehicle. All right. Now it is nearing the end of the month already. And that means at Genesis of St. Charles, they have some aggressive goals they want to reach. They want to make you a great deal. Now, you've heard me talk about Genesis of St. Charles and the St. Charles Automotive Group being family owned and operated, one of the last truly family owned and operated dealerships in the St. Louis area. And that is true. And that makes a difference in the car buying experience. You don't have to worry about this big show. You don't have to worry about haggling prices or that it's going to take your entire day. You can walk in, look at the car, say, this is the car I want, test drive it, sign the papers, and be out with your brand new Genesis in less than 60 minutes. If you want to spend more time and chat with the sales rep, you can do that. You might know them. They've been around for a long time. They have repeat customers over the course of generations. It's Genesis of St. Charles. Visit them just a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70, or genesisofstcharles.com.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis.
Activate your garage, adding additional entertainment space for graduation parties or other summer get-togethers you have planned. In as little as 48 hours, get organized and start planning that party. Visit them online at hellogarage.com.
If you're thinking about selling your St. Louis area home, you might be a bit overwhelmed by the process, especially in this market. Take it from me, Debbie Monterey. I strongly recommend that you call and spend 5 minutes getting to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands that you have questions and that selling your home can be stressful. Gloria has mastered the home selling process with her Guaranteed Sold program. It simply states, Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or Gloria will buy it. So what's Gloria's secret? Gloria already has the buyers. Fact is, your home may already be sold. Let Gloria show you how she nets her sellers more money and how she sells faster on average. Need more proof? Check out Gloria's 5-star reviews and get moving. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. If you have a stone foundation in your basement that needs tuck pointing, now is a great time to get that taken care of by calling Morelli Tuck Pointing. What's tuck pointing? It's the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar on a wall or a chimney. That mortar can become loose, missing, deeply eroded. And that's what happened last year at our house. As a result, water came into our home through the front room ceiling. The Morelli team tuck pointed and spot tuck pointed the outside wall in the chimney last August. Morelli then cleaned the job site, left the work area spotless. We could not have been happier with the work performed by the Morelli team. Morelli has won the Better Business Bureau's Torch Award and the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. Check out their reviews on the Google and Better Business Bureau websites for a free inspection and estimate. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
Amy's got a lot of problems with you people.
Yeah.
So she has some grievances she would like to air. Before we do that, following up on our conversation about all the rich West County people.
Oh my gosh.
A group that we are not a part of, except for Amy.
No, I'm not.
This texter.
You live in the central West End.
Listen.
Highfalutin.
This texter says from the 636, it says, Amy, I'm not rich. I live in Franklin County. Also, Amy, buy a Genesis.
Well, one of us is doing ads for Genesis and others are buying them.
Genesi looked really good. Are they Genesi? Would you say that? Is it
Genesises?
I don't think it's Genesises. There's got to be a plural.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are your grievances?
Well, first of all,
what's your problem?
Our listeners. Second,
wow. Amy,
I have good news.
Okay.
My neighbor's not dead.
Oh.
I called the landlord yesterday because there was a very, very foul, overwhelming, and suspicious smell in my apartment hallway. And I walked in and I was hit with it. It was a physical smell, if that makes sense. It was so strong that it knocked you over.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the light in Seinfeld when Kramer opens up the door.
Yeah.
And there's that red light.
Yeah. The Kenny Rogers roasters.
Yep. So I called my landlord and I said, hello. You might want to check on the guy in 1E.
Did you really?
Yes. Mainly, I texted my other neighbor and I was like, hey, do you smell that? That's awful. And she's like, yes, it's horrible. Have you seen this guy recently? I'm like, well, no, but I've been gone a lot. I've been working a lot. I haven't seen him. She's like, well, we might want to check on him. She goes, you should knock on his door. And I'm like, I don't want to knock on this guy's door. I don't know him. So I called the landlord and said, hey, it could be that the sewage is backed up, or it could be that maybe one of our neighbors is dead. So she goes, did you check the basement? And I said, no, I couldn't bring myself to do it yet because I'm gagging. But she goes, okay, I'll call the guy to see if he's dead. You go check the basement. So I checked the basement. Good news, bad news. Good news, the sewage, no sewage, the sewer was not backed up. Bad news, the smell's still there. So the landlord starts calling neighbors. The good news is the guy that I thought might be dead is not dead. He's alive. He answered the phone.
Oh,
he had
okay.
hot dogs for lunch. She goes, could it be that?
What if the...
And she goes, I don't think it's the hot dogs that you had for lunch. No, but it wasn't. So then we tried to talk to another neighbor who has a dog, and the dog has not been barking.
Oh, no.
I know.
Is it the dead dog?
Well, we checked. It's not the dead dog. So I think maybe a raccoon died.
Okay,
So
well, where's
my
the
grie-
raccoon?
In-
So what's
in
your
the wall.
grievance then?
The wall. The smell is the grievance. Like, these animals need to stop dying in the walls and attics of apartment buildings. Do you know how bad? It smells like a horse died in the wall.
So then what do you want us to do about it?
I don't know.
What do you want St. Louis to do about your smelly neighbor?
I don't know. That's it. That's all I have.
Okay.
Okay. Also, did we ever get callers, our listeners, the mean listeners that are being mean to me right now? Why
Yeah.
is there white powder on my feet after I get out of the shower?
Well, that is from the anthrax they sent you.
I think it might
I
be.
guess. I don't know.
I think it's minerals, lime, chalk, whatever it may be. But when I get out of the shower, there's like a white film It freaks me out.
Can we go? We'll get to that in a second. Let me go back to because I have a story about a guy I know. I used to work with him a long time ago at a restaurant, and my one of my best friends was managing a different place, and recently, this was last year or the year before, and this guy worked for him and had been working for him for years. So I've known of this guy for since like 2003 or 4. So it's been a long time. And didn't show up to work. And my buddy went to the apartment, and he said, this guy hasn't shown up. And he texted me, and he's like, what do I do? And he's like, I think whatever you think has happened has happened.
Yeah.
And I said, you got to call the police because they're definitely. And he said it does kind of smell outside.
Oh, no.
And he was totally in there. Yeah. So like the police came, and it was bad.
Oh.
It was very, very bad.
That's what I was afraid of.
I got a worse one then. You want to hear this one? In college.
Oh my gosh.
In college, there were this row of townhouses.
No.
Yes, true story. Smell started to develop, and my buddy lived next door to this unit where this happened. This guy's living in the unit. Smell develops. Doesn't know what it is. It smells like what you think it is. And then a stain on the ceiling develops. And then the stain starts to drip. And it was the guy upstairs. Dead in his recliner.
Okay.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry.
That could have happened to you at your apartment.
Well, okay. First of all, I know. And that's why I called the landlord. And I don't know if this is concerning or reassuring, but she said, and I quote, oh, this has happened to me a couple times before. I know that smell.
Oh,
and that is concerning to me. I guess if you are a landlord of a bunch of properties, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, this has happened to me a couple times before I know that smell. Oh, I'm reluctant to go
I bet
over
it's
there.
probably stuck in the walls or something.
It's a raccoon. It smells like a horse. It smells as big as a horse. It's probably a mouse.
It's probably not a horse. A texter from a 618 wants to know if the powder on you is soap film. And I would say no, because Amy doesn't use soap.
You're such a weirdo.
Coming up next.
What a
the
weirdo.
owner of Paschetti's, Mark Bonagiurio, is going to be in here because he's made a sandwich and the money is going to charity.
It's named after Ranj.
It's named after me. And we're being introduced to the sandwich next on KMOX.
Dave Glover, he's got a lot to say.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave and Rachel from The Dave Glover Show.
So Smart Mouth is the only mouth rinse in the world that has a chemical reaction that makes sure that your bad breath is gone for 12 hours at a time, which means 24 hours a day, zero bad breath.
Yeah, all you have to do is rinse twice and you are covered for 24 hours. That means you never have bad breath. Plus, there's a product to fit whatever your needs are. To learn more, go to their website, smartmouth.com/Glover. And while you're there, you can get a coupon for $2.50 off.
Your next Ozarks adventure is in Springfield, Missouri. Float on the river or hike on the trails, and then finish the day at the most crave-worthy dining and craft beverage spots in the city before taking in some great live entertainment in a historic theater on Route 66. Springfield is also home to the Springfield Cardinals baseball team, many caves ready to explore, and the wonders of Wildlife National Museum and Aquarium. Plan your trip at springfieldmo.org. Produced in cooperation with Visit Missouri.
Fairwinds River's Edge is an award-winning independent living community located in the heart of St. Charles. Voted Best Independent Living by U.S. News and World Report. Fairwinds River's Edge provides the life-enhancing independent living services you need to support your best self. We believe that joy isn't just for the young, it's for the young at heart. With services and amenities handling life's necessities, you can dance and enjoy live entertainment at happy hour. Play a competitive game of beanbag baseball with your neighbors. Participate in an aquatic fitness class in a warm water pool. Or go out to Crown Candy for lunch. Say goodbye to home maintenance, cooking, and cleaning, and hello to the fun. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections and make meaningful memories in a community that feels like home. Join the fun at Fairwinds River's Edge. There's always something going on. Call them to see what's coming up next. 636-754-2317.
At 12:30, it's sunny and 85 degrees downtown at the Arch. Metro Transit says that a barge has struck the Eads Bridge, and so Metrolink is not operating between Civic Center and the 5th and Missouri stations. That means a bus shuttle is transporting passengers, and delays of up to 60 minutes are possible. Again, Metro says that a barge has struck the Eads Bridge. The clock is ticking with no deal to raise the debt ceiling in sight. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy signaled the two sides are getting closer.
We're not going to default. We're going to solve this problem. I will stay with it until we can get it done.
The early bird is getting more than just a worm at the airport ahead of the holiday getaway.
I'm Matt Piper at LaGuardia Airport, where for now it does not appear that the Memorial Day rush has started yet. The TSA line was really not very long, maybe 20 people deep or so, and you were through within 5 to 8 minutes there at security. And then here at the gates here at LaGuardia in New York City, it's also not very busy.
On the roads in St. Louis, some slow-moving road work on 44 going west at 109 Eureka. The left lane is closed. And watch out in the right lane of 141 north at Creve Coeur Mill Road. The forecast is sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. This afternoon, high approaching 90 for tonight, mild with a low 65. Nice with sunshine tomorrow, says Dean DeVore, with a high of 80. At the moment, sunny and 85 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. When planning your summer vacation, pick a destination close to where you live to limit your use of fuel. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Broadcasting from the Underline 3 Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
When you have electrical needs, whether it's an emergency or a planned upgrade or a planned inspection, call on Reinhold Electric because they answer their phone 24 hours a day. And with this combination of responsiveness of the staff and the experience and efficiency of the field workers, that provides you, the customer, with the best project experience or emergency service available in the Midwest. Put Reinhold Electric's number in your contacts, 314-631-1158. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sunday mornings at 10:15 on Sports on a Sunday morning, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show on Cardinals Radio, KMOX.
Hanging out with Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX. Dave Glover Show starts at 1 o'clock. Amy and I have the crossover hour with the Dave Show. Right now, we have welcomed in studio again Mark Bonajurio with Paschetti's.
How are you guys?
Yes, we're doing great.
I'm doing so well because I've been eating this sandwich.
Yes.
It's delicious.
And you have a habit of, I want to eat it right now.
Yeah.
But I'm a professional.
Yeah.
And I don't eat right before we start talking. And
Right.
you like to pick food out of your teeth while the show's going
Well,
on.
because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And if you, what is that? My Patriot Supply. What is it? Like food equals calories, calories equals energy, energy equals survival. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to survive over here.
How many miles did you run today, Chris?
Yeah.
0.
That's right. That is right.
Yeah. Because I have, I've been using Relief Factor for my pain. Move more, live more.
The best though, and then we won't continue to make fun of sponsors, but Larry Elder, I didn't know pain could make people unhappy until for the first time in my 80 years I experienced pain and realized,
it's really
wow,
funny.
this is difficult.
Wow, people have pain. This sucks.
You
Anyway.
you guys get paid for these endorsements too. don't
We
you?
do
Well,
totally.
not
totally
the
get-
My
well, we're
Relief
not getting
Factor.
paid for it. But Mark,
Yes.
you're in today
Yes.
because you have made a new sandwich, and proceeds from the sandwich are going to charity, and I'm very happy about this.
That's right.
Very excited.
That's right.
So tell us about the sandwich first, and we'll tell you where the money's going.
Well, it's cleverly named the Ranj.
Yes.
So
It's
per
named after me.
your request, my last visit, we got you on the menu.
I'm on the menu.
Got a sandwich named after you. So, we're doing salami, pepperoni, oven roasted turkey, pepper jack cheese, and then we garnish it with lettuce, tomato, banana peppers, and house dressing. So I think those fit the requirements that you put forward.
Those are my requirements.
Last time.
Wanted a little bit of a kick, and you have delivered on that.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that proceeds from this, and we're going to do this through up until Father's Day.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I was thinking, why don't we do it the whole month of June?
Okay. Even better.
Let's blow it out and just see if we can really gain some traction with this and get something going.
So I want to donate, and Mark has been kind enough to go along with this. We're going to send proceeds from the sales of this sandwich to the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, which is it's a blood cancer. It is one that is, well, it touched my family. My dad lived with that for 8 years. He developed a different cancer as a result of the treatments for it, and ended up passing away from those. So this was a cancer that I had never heard of until he was diagnosed. And it's one that I don't think it's really, it's the one that Tom Brokaw has. There have been some famous people who have been diagnosed with it, but it doesn't have it's not on the front of people's minds as much as I think it should be. So I'm very thankful to you that you have decided to do this for that. And we're going to be donating the proceeds to Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Glad to be a part of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to do it through the entire month of June.
Yeah,
We'll
we can
get
start as
started.
early as today. I mean, anybody listening that wants to go check it out straight away,
Awesome.
We're ready to go. We can hit the ground running this weekend. It's just kind of a goofy weekend, and I didn't want to start on a weird day, so I just figured June 1st would be fine, and we'll run it for a month and just see what we can do.
Awesome.
The Ranj.
That's right.
It is the Ranj.
Is this your first sandwich?
It's my first anything.
Oh,
Yeah, right?
he's never been loved before. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
I don't know where we're going with that.
Well,
but
you got
that's right.
anything named after you, Amy? You loser.
Whoa.
Hold on. I feel like there is something named after me.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. One of these days.
I'm going to go to Chesterfield. Go hang out with them.
Oh, yeah. So we were just talking about the rich West County people.
Yeah.
Like Amy.
Yeah.
He's alienating our listener
No,
base.
I love the rich
You're-
West County
No,
people. They're our listeners.
Listen, he's from
I'm
Granite
not
City.
the texter.
If you're from Granite City, you are immediately angry all the time.
Well, you would be too with all that soot.
The refinery clouds.
Hey, the people of Granite City, very hardworking,
They are.
blue collar
Yes,
types.
Yeah.
yes.
There's nobody better than a blue collar type, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from
just trying to
Fenton,
live.
So,
See, you get it.
yeah. I mean, we are blue collar.
Fenton is the Granite City of the West.
Take it easy.
Isn't Fenton considered
Whoa.
West County? Is Fenton West County?
They're trying to, they
Yeah.
keep trying to move us like southwest.
Southwest,
But yeah, nobody
yeah.
wanted to be a part of us ever. Like in the 80s and 90s, we were just
Yeah.
considered like Hoosiers.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
now we're blowing up. We got nice real estate. The housing market's great.
Guess
and now
who-
everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's kind of nice out
Guess who
there.
used to work at the running store in Fenton next to
here
the
we go.
Deerbergs? That's right. Me.
That's
That's right. Right next to the
Congratulations.
urgent care.
That's
and
right.
so we would have a lot of bloody people walking into the running store going, I need a new shirt. And the shirts were all like
Wait,
technical
hold on,
running
hold on,
shirts.
hold on,
What?
hold on. They
Yeah.
would come in there bloody?
Yes, dude. The
Because like he was saying,
shirts, like rub.
well, no, not the runners
Oh.
bloody, the
Not the
urgent
nipple?
care bloody.
I thought that's where you were going with that. You're talking urgent care people.
I'm talking
I beg your
urgent care
pardon.
people.
I
Yeah.
was like, yikes. They went straight off the.
And there were some interesting characters who were going into the urgent care.
I bet.
And then their clothes were bloody. So they saw the store I worked at, which was Fleet Feet. It's since moved to South County, Tesson Ferry. But at that time, it was in Fenton, right next to the Deerbergs and right next to the urgent care. And they would come into the store and be like, I need a new shirt. And because they were bloody. But the shirts were technical running shirts. So they were like $60 shirts, which is not
Oh,
what they
wow.
were looking for. Right. And we had to tell them, like, well, this is, the running store. I don't think you're going to find a
Well,
great
you should have
replacement
just started to stock
cheap shirts.
like,
That's
cheap
actually not
t-shirts
a
for the
terrible
urgent
idea.
care people to come
I
in.
know.
The best is when you guys would like test out the shoes. Like you'd be
Mhm.
sitting at the bar at the end
Yes.
and watching people run past the window, like testing out their new shoes. You're sitting there drinking a pint, like, look at these yahoos. You know,
I was the Yahoo.
I know.
Yeah.
That was me in Fenton.
All these overachievers.
Right.
Yeah.
As we're
Running.
just
Well, and what's funny is we were talking about Chesterfield, and we have a Fleet Feet in Chesterfield. They had a Fleet Feet in Chesterfield. So we'd go to Deerberg's and get cookie cakes, and we would have them right on the cake, like it sucks to be Chesterfield. And then we would eat the cake in Fenton because we were very it was like a rivalry between the Chesterfield, the Fenton store, the St. Charles store. So anyway, nobody cares about this. Let's talk about the sandwich.
right.
Yes, the sandwich.
Yeah. So just for anybody that wants to come support the cause, just mention the sandwich, the Ranj or Chris Ranji, KMOX, whatever. Just make some sort of reference. We're all set up for it. So yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully we can raise money for a great cause.
What if people say, I would like the Ranj,
Okay.
but I want you to know I like Amy better?
We'll
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Like,
we'll double
just-
the donation.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's incredible.
Well, nobody's gonna say that anyway.
I think they might.
Well, on the one off, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Probably some creeper that
From the fields of Chester.
From the fields. That Amy, she's real nice. Isn't she?
Oh boy.
One of those people. That's probably the kind of people that would say that.
Yeah.
Anybody with a brain.
I think
wouldn't.
Mark doesn't know what he got himself into.
Oh,
in
Mark
his-
loves being in here.
Do you like being in here, Mark?
I love it.
Okay.
How
love
much response? How has the response been? I mean, March was a while ago.
Yeah.
So we had the sandwich scandal.
Yeah.
And you know, the lady had to leave the state, and our company never got back to us.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had to put in a ticket to corporate.
Yeah, we had to put in a ticket.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of died. I don't think anybody wanted to hear that we were going to become back-to-back champs.
Right.
So, I
Right,
mean, I
right,
know.
right,
so it was
right.
probably best for the sandwich community that
Nobody
we just let
likes
it
a
cool
sore
off.
winner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was fine. But this is always so much fun. I took radio production classes in college and stuff.
Really?
And I wanted to do this
Oh, you want a job here?
as a younger person, but shout out to Debbie Owens, our professor at Merrimack, set us all straight and
Hey,
said,
Debbie Owens.
you will
Die.
what did she say? You will work in a town you've never heard of overnight with no one listening to you before
Yeah.
before you get discovered. Because this is like 97, 98. So Howard
Yes.
Stern had just blown up. Steve and DC were huge. So
Mhm.
we all thought we were going to be syndicated and make a
Yeah.
ton of money.
Right.
But like 5 people showed up the next day for class. But I finished the course because it was great. But yeah, got a business
Well,
degree
you've got,
instead.
you've got a real natural bent towards radio. I mean,
Mhm.
you're doing great.
Thanks. It's
Yeah.
like I said, it was so much fun when you guys had me in, and 15 minutes was great. 15 minutes of fame, right?
Are you from Fenton?
Yes.
Okay. Do you play pickleball?
No, Amy, I'm not 78.
Oh, now you've alienated. Now Mark
No,
has
oh, great.
alienated
Mark,
all of our
now,
young
okay.
pickleball people.
No,
You
my
know what,
friends,
though? I
I
think
have
the
friends that play
Chesterfield
like, you
pickleball
got to
is a big
play, you
overlap.
got to play. Because
It's
there's the MPC or whatever it's called,
That's
right?
what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
The last
We
time I
have-
was in Fenton was the pickleball place.
Yeah, they attached a pickleball court to one of the gyms in Fenton. And
Wow.
it's a
It's-
nice facility. And I think it's so funny that this sport is gaining as much traffic as it, or traction as it has. But I make fun of all my friends that play it
Yeah.
because, I mean, they're converting malls for these things now.
Mhm.
Like,
They
it's,
are.
This
you should see
is-
Chesterfield Mall.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so
Dude,
sad.
Yeah.
Like the whole,
It's so
like,
sad.
it is. I mean, think about it. Like, think of your memories of a mall,
Yes.
It's so sad. I
and then
love
now you go
Chesterfield.
and there's all these people playing pickleball in the
Yeah.
courtyard and stuff. Like the whole lower level is all pickleball
Really?
courts.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
craziest thing you've
weird.
ever seen.
I
It's just eerie
spent-
because
I
And-
spent so much time at the Rich People Mall, Chesterfield Mall, when I was a kid, because my grandma lived out there. Also, rich people.
Oh, your grandma, huh?
Well,
she
used to
Wow.
be. She
You've
used
been
to be.
disparaging. What a little
See?
She used to.
twerp
Well,
you
well.
are.
slow
now
down.
we're getting
Holy
somewhere.
Slow down.
cow.
Slow down. It was Baldwin. So she used to live out
That's a
there.
bordering zip code.
That's
Spent
West
a
County.
lot of time at that mall, and the last time I went in there, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why I was out that way, and I think it was during the pandemic because I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
So I went into the mall, walked around Macy's, and then walked into the mall, and it
Mm.
was just nothing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there is nothing more depressing than going into a
Mm-mm.
mall
Agreed.
with no stores.
Agreed.
It feels like it's very unnerving, like
Yeah.
something bad's going to happen.
Or
but
has
then-
already happened.
Right. And then you think about all the memories you had at
Sure.
the place, and it's
And that was the
weird.
saddest one part about Crestwood, in my opinion,
Mhm.
because Crestwood
Yeah,
Mall was
yeah,
like
yeah.
our mall
Mhm.
when we were kids and stuff. And it was a great stretch of real estate right there and very busy, and then you go in there and there's just slowly dying off, and then that whatever buying group, I guess that was Westfield that picked up the
West County Mall.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't go along with it, and they kind of went on their own, and then it ended up closing. But yeah, to your point, it is the weirdest thing walking through an empty mall because you feel like you're going to get murdered.
I love malls, though. I love the Galleria. I love West County Mall.
I do
I go to the Galleria more often. But yes, and the Galleria closes at 7 now.
Well,
and I think it used to close at 10 before the pandemic, and I
Yeah.
loved
No.
going after dinner. No, it closes at 7.
Well, I think they used to close at like 8. 10 o'clock is holiday hours.
11 o'clock was holiday hours.
No, it was not.
It was.
When?
Before the pandemic.
Okay, maybe.
Do you remember Pretzel Time at Chesterfield Mall? And they had all the flavored Cokes.
I don't like pretzels.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
Mall pretzels are the best.
Yeah. That's why they have the anti something now.
This guy, don't you
Anti-ends?
regret making a sandwich after this, loser?
No, he loves it.
No, I almost put on a pretzel bun. I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, no, I would have told you. I would have thrown it back at you.
Try again.
Take this. Try. No, Mark.
Yeah.
No. This sandwich you've done out of the kindness of your heart. No.
Swing and a miss.
So, but man, I love that mall. Had a really great time in there. We appreciate you coming in, Mark. Bonajurio from Paschetti's.
Yes.
2 locations.
Yeah.
So the sandwich is called the Ranj.
That's right.
And proceeds going to the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, all through the month of June. Come check us out. And
And it's going to have a little kick to it.
It's
help us
delicious.
raise some money.
Yes. And just get yourself a good sandwich.
Get yourself a good sandwich.
Yeah.
Get this one.
Yep.
Mark Bonajurio from Paschetti's. Thank you for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. We'll wrap things up next before the Dave Glover Show on KMOX.
This is Tom Ackerman. McKelvey Homes is proud to announce they sold 30 homes in the first quarter and will donate $1,898, $1,898, the year they were founded 125 years ago, per home to Cardinal Glendon Children's Hospital. They call it Homes for Health. That's a total of $56,940. You can learn more about McKelvey Homes and all of their single-family, multifamily residences and more at McKelveyHomes.com.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Luke Combs.
I am somebody who has struggled with anxiety a lot. A couple ways or tools, I guess you would say, to maintain my mental health is making myself aware to the things that I know I'm prone to. Information is key for things like that, and knowing what you're dealing with and how they operate. Being aware of the way your mind works in certain situations has been the most important thing for me.
More at imlistening.org.
Sponsored by Compass Health Network. Inspire hope. Promote wellness.
Hi, this is Ken. And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The new name in luxury is Genesis. Head to Genesis of St. Charles today and check out, for example, the 2023 GV80, the luxury SUV that will knock your socks off, and you'll be amazed at the price. It is Genesis of St. Charles, currently housed in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom. A new showroom for Genesis is on the way, but experience it today at Genesis of St. Charles, just a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70, genesisofstcharles.com.
Caring for residents for over a century, Manor Grove is committed to making everyone feel at home. Choosing a home for your loved one to reside is an important decision and shouldn't be taken lightly. Manor Grove makes your decision easy with medical professionals and staff who care for residents like family. If you are looking for a caring and quality nursing home and rehab facility, please visit our website, manorgrove.com, and take our virtual tour. Manor Grove, over a century of caring. Welcome home to Manor Grove.
An evening with Natalie Merchant, live in concert with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Natalie Merchant.
I'm bound to thank you for it.
Keep Your Courage Tour, Steeple Theater, June 22nd. Get tickets now at slso.org. The new album, Keep Your Courage, is available everywhere now. For more info, visit nataliemerchant.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. We'll always be here for you. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Honor Law took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Furnish hope right here in St. Louis. Donate your unneeded furniture and household goods to Home Sweet Home. Visit www.homesweethomestl.org to learn more.
Amy Marks scores.
This is my show, my microphone.
On the show.
I feel like I've been shot at.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a celebrity texter. So Brad Young of Hairstyle Fisher and Young, legal analyst expert for KMOX. He said, I live in Chesterfield and I am a regular person. And I responded, that's right, Ronj over here is an idiot. And Brad Young texted back, a truth that is self-evident.
Oh, that's it, Brad. I'm going to smash this mug into the ground.
Not the Hairstyle Fisher and Young mug.
The Hairstyle Fisher and Young is dead now.
It's a great mug, though.
It's a nice mug.
Whoever ordered that mug from whatever mug company, that was a great choice.
Here's a text message from Big Blonde Dan, who says, as a SoCo Hoosier, I take umbrage with Amy and her upward nose attitude, and now she's complaining about the smell of the pores.
That's my apartment.
Dan does?
No, the guy that I thought was dead. He lives. Notice I didn't say he lived in my apartment. He lives in my apartment building because he's not dead. And I don't know, you Granite City people have a total misperception of the St. Louis area.
Well, it's because
you're not even from this state.
Listen.
How dare you cast aspersions upon the fields of Chester?
Listen. If my grandmother
Who was Hotsy Totsy
hadn't lived all the way out in Baldwin, maybe I wouldn't have spent as much time over in that part of this area that I did.
Yeah.
And other people in Granite City were too busy working their butts off to know what was going out there. So the assumption
your
is
grandmother, God rest her soul, you're condemning her?
Who said she was dead?
I don't know. I just assumed.
She is. It was a while ago. Yeah. So thanks for bringing it up. Anyway. Yeah. Listen, she was in real estate or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but Raj is being all rude to the fields of Chester, and his grandmother was Hotsy Totsy herself. And Mr. Chris Ranji, only child, all the love, all the attention focused on him, and his Hotsy Totsy grandma is trying to pretend that he's never experienced any type of luxury in his sad little life.
No, because all I experienced growing up was hardship.
Oh my gosh.
It's true.
You are the fruits of a misspent youth.
I was late to school every day because I had to get up early and work in the field.
Is that why you were so bad at math?
Probably, but I learned life skills.
You know what you did?
It's made me a better person.
Considering how bad you are at math,
Mm-hmm.
you're actually pretty good with the English language.
Yeah, I agree.
You're a good talker.
Well, I can't be good at everything.
Well, that's true. But you do have a nice vocabulary, and I think you're intelligent.
Yeah, thanks. That's very nice of you. Anything you missed on the show today? We talked to Major Garrett. We talked to John Rooney about the Cardinals. We're the home of the Cardinals, you know. And they got a baseball game tonight. 4:45 is the pregame show. 5:40 first pitch from Cincinnati. They're on a roll, man. Damn. I mean, they lost 2 nights ago, but it's almost like, so you're going to lose one every now and then. They've been playing great ball for almost 3 weeks. We visited with Stuart McMillan about the Bears situation, not Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. We're talking about the Bears roaming Missouri. Black Bears. You got to be careful.
And we also put out a public service announcement to the fine folks of Jefferson County.
Right.
And that is stop running over the bears with your cars.
Quit hitting the bears, please.
Yeah.
It's been bad. Right?
Right.
Don't you kind of miss Ben the bear?
The one that escaped?
Yeah, I totally miss him.
Where did they put him?
Texas.
Because do they have better locks in Texas?
That's, you know what? You're making a joke, but yes. The bear that was consistently escaping from his enclosure at the zoo, St. Louis Zoo, finest zoo in the world, free zoo. They couldn't handle him because he was too smart, too rambunctious. They moved him to a Texas zoo, which had a better facility. So I miss Ben the bear. I wish him well. Hope he has a nice life in Texas.
You know what? I'm just glad he didn't escape and try to head over to Jefferson County.
Yeah, because bad things would have happened.
He would have gotten hit by a car.
Well, he probably would have been smart enough to stay off the highway.
So watch where you're going. Shout out to Franklin County. Shout out to Fenton, my old workplace. That's
right. You love Fenton. And thank you to Mark Bonajurio from Pescetti's, who has made the Ranj. There is a sandwich, so I guess just say my name. When you go in, and proceeds from the sales of the sandwich will go to the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation.
That's awesome.
Which is a great cause, and I'm very, very happy they did that. It's awesome.
Through the month of June.
Yes, through the month of June.
Yep.
Through Father's Day, through the month of June. So on the sandwich, there's turkey and salami and pepperoni and banana peppers. Oh, man.
It's delicious. Pepper jack cheese.
Pepper jack cheese.
House dressing.
So if you want a little bit of a kick, that's what you can do. All right, Amy, good time. We're not done, though. We got a show coming up next. Dave Glover Show will hang out for an hour. Thank you for listening. Catch anything you missed on the Odyssey app. It's totally free. And we'll be back with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Short show tomorrow because of an early Cardinals baseball game. Have a great day. See you soon.
When do you need to see an ophthalmologist? Hi, this is Charlie Brennan.